Hello, my Teaser King family. How is everybody today? The professor fine. So, I've been watching some gold stuff. There was a conference in Frankfurt, Germany, and you see these guys come out. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I can't believe the whole world's Keynesian, except for us. We're the only ones that know what's really going on, and these idiots have no fucking clue. They want to go to charts. Well, this is what gold's done, and gold's done this, and teapot and tea kettle, and you're like, it's a scratch my head moment, or shake my head moment, right, Bobby? What the fuck? It's controlled by comex. It doesn't run. It can't run because they keep the price down because they can't afford. See, listening to some Bitcoin stuff and listening to some other stuff, what's making sense is the government will pee in their pants if they lose control of the dollar, because then they'll be useless and worthless. So, in other words, if gold gets too high, everybody runs into gold. But if they keep gold down and everybody thinks gold's not worth anything, nobody jumps into gold. More for us. Thank you. My friend at the club, at the swim club, she's one of the lifeguards, and I gave her some silver. I says, I don't get it. I tell people to buy gold and silver, and nobody listens. And she says, more for us. Like, shut the fuck up, because it's very limited. And if everybody runs to buy gold, we won't be able to buy gold. So good point there, Julia. Gold right now, $27.20, up $25. I hope a little pullback tomorrow at about 1 o'clock, because I am get my paycheck in the morning. I got my Social Security check. I'm running to the bank at now I don't have to, but I don't know if I can use my debit card. So I'm going to run to the, I want to get my money out of the bank and, get it out and then go buy gold with 3/4 of it and then put another little bit into the safe as we go. But so I'm looking to buy 1.25 ounces if he has 1.25 ounces. And I'm beginning to really see that demand is getting stronger and the supply is getting weaker. However, as long as these idiots keep coming and selling their gold, I'll have gold. I think I'll have some tomorrow. I really want at least 1 ounce and then that. And I was telling the guy at work today that there's going to be a time they won't take the paper, right? The dollar, you will not be able. Where's my dollar? Where did it go? You won't be able to use this to buy gold. So people are asking me, well, are you going to sell gold when it hits 50,000? And I go, it will never hit 50,000 because the dollar will be gone well before it hitting 50 grand. And the gold will be worth 50 grand on its own. You won't need fiat money. You'll have gold. I know it's hard for you to understand this concept, but this will be backed by gold. So there'll be new currency, this backed by gold, and then the price of the gold will buy a house, right? But it won't be $50,000 because there won't be dollars to price it. That's why I'm telling you brics or Bitcoin, it'll be worth zero because it doesn't have the power of gold behind it. So Bitcoin is $100,000, but what is it when the dollars collapse? It'll be nothing. And, Trump's crying, oh, I'm going to put tariffs and, oh my God, if we lose it, dude, it's gone. You got a $36 trillion debt. If nothing else, you can't afford that. You still got Social Security and Medicare and government employees. There's no revenue in the government. The Department of Defense, where they get revenue from. So you're printing money to pay them and their pensions, and then you got the interest on the debt and the defense contractors. You don't have the money, so you have to print it. The more you print, the less it's worth, and that's the problem. So this is what I tried to explain. So I'm going to Rumpelstiltskin tomorrow, but I'm starting to get a little bit, because I know what's going to happen. We're going to run out of gold to buy, right? You keep buying tons and tons, China, Russia, India, Saudi Arabia. There ain't a whole lot left. So really what I'm buying is if somebody comes in and sells it. Unfortunately, these people are idiots and they keep selling their gold. And I'm like, okay, great. Thank you for doing it. Why don't we get together and I'll buy it for spot and I'll save us. I'll pay you $5 over spot and I can get it for spot. And that's really the best way if we could do that, which we could if we knew people who are going to sell your gold. If I know you're going to sell it, hey, wait, let's meet and I'll buy it from you. But you got to make sure the gold's good. That's the only tricky part. Where the store looks at it and measures and weights it and puts it on the scale and it measures. Yes, this is good. This is gold. It's good. So when I go to the store, I know I'm buying good gold. Maybe it's worth $100 over a spot to do that. Anyway, so I'd like to get an ounce and a quarter. If they don't have the quarter, I might buy an ounce and a dime and then 20 ounces of silver or something. Silver's coming a little bit later, but it is coming. And anyway, so we got silver at about 32 and we got gold at 27.20. A nice $25 day. And if you look at the day, we didn't see a 2 o'clock pullback. We didn't see a 6 o'clock pullback. We didn't see an 8 o'clock pullback. And we didn't see a 10 o'clock pullback. This is an unusual. Nobody sold their derivatives all day. It was actually bought. So I could see when 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock didn't go down and then 10 o'clock went up, I knew this was not going down today. But every day is different. Tomorrow it could go down. So I hope if I see it going down, I'll definitely wait till 10:30, 11 o'clock to buy my gold after the normal 10 o'clock drop. But if it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I am not income averaging. This is not a stock. This is gold that's going up 10 times the value it is at now. The only thing I kind of didn't like about Egon, he's saying gold never goes up in value. It's just the dollar going down. I'm like, the fucking dollar's down 99%. You're missing the comex part of it. This is what these people just don't understand. It's not a real price. It's a fake price, but they can't see it. I don't understand why I can see it and I show you and they can't see it. They look at the chart. It's a teacup and this, it's going to go up. No, it's price fixed, you idiots. If COMEX is putting derivatives in to keep the price down, how the fuck do you think it's a normal price? It would be much higher. This is not free market. Now, do we get the free market in gold? I would like to think so. But it's going to save you from the dollar collapsing. And there's nothing Trump can do or Trump Jr. and we'll go on Bitcoin. So I think his plan is maybe to pay off the debt with Bitcoin. Fella, it ain't money. You're better off buying Picassos and trying to pay off the debt with Picassos. At least that's an asset. Who's going to buy your Bitcoin? Nobody. We know the mafia's in it. We know Russia's in it. So just to be careful with that. So I did talk to Daria today and explain. I don't know what I'm with you meant. And now I said, now I understand it. So then I said, I'm with you. And I said, but in America, if we hear it, it doesn't really mean anything to us. So she was, oh, okay. So I think she understood it too. Anyway, I had to get that in. All right. So that's what's going on. We'll go to football. We'll come back. It's just amazing. There's this Munich conference or Frankfurt, wherever it's in Germany. And they're all Keynesians. They're all socialists. Oh, real quick. So we had a luncheon today at work. I'm sitting there with my guy in my group. It's just me and him, and my boss is in Brazil. He's from Brazil. He must be there for the holidays. And some guy says, can I join? And we start talking, and he says, I don't know. It came up about our degrees. Well, I got a master's in Austrian economics and corporate finance. So he goes, well, I got an undergrad from in business and a master's, I think something in economics. So he says, well, I got a master's, not just economics, but let's say, finance and economics. So I calmly said, what kind of economics? What do you mean? Well, what kind of economics did you get? Do you mean micro or macro? I said, no. What kind of economics did you learn? Did you learn Keynesian or Austrian? He didn't have a clue. He's talking micro and macro. I took micro and macro, Austrian style, but he didn't even know he was taking Keynesian economics. This is the problem. People don't know it's Keynesian being taught. Therefore, they can't do it. Hey, G, how are you today? So I blew his mind because he didn't know what he learned. I says, oh, I teach Austrian economics. There's no graphs and charts and bullshit, things that are very confusing and nobody knows. Everybody knows I teach Austrian economics or classical economics. Everybody learns, everybody understands it. I keep it very simple, and everybody learns a great deal by watching. I said, so you've got fucked because you took Keynesian and didn't even know it was Keynesian economics. So I laugh when these guys are economists. I'm an economist. Well, no, you're either an Austrian or a Keynesian. There's only two, and you're one of the other. And when I start hearing people talk about deflation, I know they're Keynesian right away. So I catch on real quick what you are, and then I turn you off because whatever comes out of your mouth is going to be wrong. All right. So took a break at work, updated my football stuff. And let's talk about it. Now, today's Wednesday. They should have the injury report. The only I got was Carr's out with the broken wrist, jumping over three players, scrambling instead of sliding. This is why a quarterback should slide, because without Carr, New Orleans is in trouble with Haener. Haener's okay, but he's not seasoned yet. The other one I got is the Giants are going to start Danny DeVito instead of Locke, who I think is injured. Let's go through quarterbacks. Stafford against Purdy tomorrow. Mahomes and Winston. Very, very close there. Who's better? Burrow against Levis. Very close. Who's better? Daniels against Haener. Very close about who's better. Maybe it's the other guy, Rattler, but I would have. Haener came in the game last time. Lamar against Danny DeVito. We're not sure who's better there. Rush against Steve Young. I think Rush is better. Rodgers against Mac Jones. Well, I think it's Aaron Rodgers. All the superstars are playing these bums. Tagliabue against Stroud. It's even. They both suck. Richardson against Bo Nix. Allen against Goff. Josh Allen's the better quarterback. Russell Wilson against Jalen Hurts. Russell Wilson. Drake May against Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, he's throwing all these interceptions. Baker against Herbert. This is Herbert's better. Love against Smith, Green Bay, Seattle. I have to go with Love, but he's not that much better. Smith is terrible. Love, a lot of picks. Caleb against Darnold, and actually Darnell is better than Caleb. As bad as Darnold was, he's playing out of his mind, so he's there. And then we got Kirk Cousins, hopefully Penix, against, I guess, O'Connell, who went out with a leg cast. Is apparently just a bruised knee. So this guy's a little crybaby against Cousins or O'Connell or Riddler. So it's Atlanta, Oakland. So I did get a few of those who we know. It'll be Haener. It'll be DeVito. It'll be, looks like O'Connell should be your starting quarterbacks. Let's go through the line. So tomorrow we got San Francisco 3-49 to the Rams. Very tricky game. Now, we saw the Rams put up 100 points on Buffalo, and Buffalo put up 100 points on the Rams. Now, the Rams are not playing Buffalo this week, although Buffalo's got a 21 defense and the Niners have a 24 defense. The fact that he's shut down Caleb is not, he is nowhere near Stafford. So, okay, we understand that. Then we've got, so now they're not at home. They're on the road. They're at the Niners. Similar defense, a lot of injuries. I'm waiting to see the injuries. Is Boza playing and players like that? So again, the Niners, okay, they scored on a good Bear defense. Give them credit for that. They both need the game. So it's a tough game. I got the Rams as an over team with Pukanuka and Cooper Kupp with the 26 defense, unfortunately, and the Niners with the E team with the 24 defense. So they scored in the mid-20s. The Rams, I'm giving like 26-27 for. So that's why they're over. Depending on the weather and depending now, there's a massive rainstorm supposed to be on the East Coast tonight. Is it going to be there on Sunday? I don't know. Tomorrow, the game's in 49ers. San Francisco won't matter. The only games that could affect maybe Cleveland. I doubt Tennessee. The Giants should be affected by this. Carolina, it was not going down past Washington. Not Jacksonville, not Houston, not Denver, not Detroit in the Dome. Philadelphia will get a little bit of rain, maybe. The only one that I see actual rain right now is Dallas, Carolina. Should get rain in Carolina, but I don't know how big. And then Philly, Pitt doesn't say rain, but that's where the rain is, but maybe it blows out by Sunday. Arizona, San Diego, Seattle, Minnesota in a dome, and Oakland. So those are the only couple of games that could get this rainstorm, snowstorm, wind, and everything. But again, it happened today. Today's Wednesday. So by Sunday, it should blow through. We'll double check it. So tomorrow I will play the game. There's two options, obviously, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I have a feeling what I want to check the Boza injury. That helps the total if he's out. The Rams should light him up pretty good. And the Niners lit up the Bears. They should light up the Rams, especially at home. So this should be a light barbecue, a light them up day. We got Baltimore 16.5, 42.5 to the Giants with Danny DeVito against Lamar. Baltimore is an over team without a defense, 25 defense. However, the Giants are a Z team with a 23 defense. Danny DeVito is not going to hurt Baltimore. Now, the funny part about Baltimore is looking through their record, they would blow out like Buffalo and then lose to Cleveland. And then they blew out, then they lose to a couple of, they had 3 losses lately. Pittsburgh they lost to, and then last week they lost to who did they lose to last week? It was Philadelphia. So they lost to a good Philadelphia team. They lost to a terrible Cleveland team. Lost to a good Pittsburgh team. Teams with good defenses. Giants do not have a good defense. So what I do sometimes, I go into matchup and I look at the last 6 or 7 games. So it gives me the schedule. And it was like I did with Iowa State. You start looking at it and you see and you go, no, Iowa State's defense isn't what you expect from Iowa State. Okay. So when I looked at the New York Giants, I don't know what kind of defense. I still think Bill Parcells is there. And I'm like, well, it says 23. Is it that good? And then I look and it's not that good. They give up a lot of upper 20s. In fact, they lost to Carolina. That's how weak their defense is. So it's a pretty bad team. That's why the line's 16. My thought is Baltimore off of a loss will win. Lamar will have a good game because he sucked against Philly. I I think they score, but I don't think the Giants do anything. I think Baltimore plays a good defensive game, and I think they can score on the Giants, but I don't know. We're talking 43. So you can either go over 37, which if the Giants can score for you, or under 49 if you don't think the Giants are going to score. It's just it's a lot to give 16 points. A block punt, a pick six, and we know Lamar can do that. It's a big number to cover. So that's what I kind of stay away from, like Philadelphia did with Carolina. They win by 6 and they're laying 8 or 14, 8 in a teaser. They didn't cover because they probably don't care. They go, we're playing Carolina. Who cares? So Baltimore is probably laughing, going, we got the Giants, except they're off the loss to Philly. So they have to get it to 2 back of Pitt. The JETS is 3.5, 40.5 to Jacksonville. We got the Jets as an under team, but Rodgers with Devontae Adams is starting to play better. 23 defense. Jacksonville's terrible. Z team, a 27 defense, and Mac Jones. Trevor Lawrence wasn't any good anyway. They must be real happy they paid him all that money. But I don't know how much is guaranteed. And then they get like insurance money. If the guy gets hurt, they collect the insurance money on him. So if he wasn't hurt, I'm sure they injured him, so he'd have to get out. But they're stuck with Lawrence, and they're going to be shit for the next couple of years. Anyway, so a Z team, Jacksonville 27. So Rodgers should have a good day against this defense. The game's in Florida. They just played Miami, and apparently they had the lead and it went to overtime. Tells me the Jets don't have that good of a defense. Not what we think. Jacksonville, we know, has no defense. So we know Rodgers should have a good game. Mac Jones sucks. The Jets defense is okay, not stifling like it was. So, again, I'd rather have the Jets as a dog, and this would be an easy play. So I can't tease the Jets here. Rodgers, I guess Rodgers should have a good game here. Washington, 7.5, 43 to New Orleans. We can get a 7, 43. Washington's an over team, but almost a B team. They score a lot and they give up 23. So giving up 23, that's why they're a B team. They probably scored 27, 28. So they're close to an A. They were an A till they got killed by somebody. And then so anyway, they're an over team, which means that their defense isn't that great. Their offense is. New Orleans is an even team, also with a 23 defense, but they got Carr out. So I guess it goes to Haener or Rattler. I don't know. But Haener came in last week. He didn't throw the ball because I looked in the stats and I didn't see it was just Carr. So then I went into the drive detail. Like, if you skip to the drives, it shows you every drive what happened. He did play the last drive, and I don't know why. I assume he threw the ball. They had the lead. Yeah, they beat the Giants 14-11, so he probably just ran the ball, ran the clock out. Daniel's obviously much better. Washington needs the game. New Orleans needs the game. Mathematically, they're 2 or 3 back. And again, there's 4 to play. So New Orleans at home, but you got to rely on Haener, which he's a very good quarterback. So again, it's not as easy as pie, but Daniels is playing far better than Haener is at this moment. Not that Haener won't, but right now he's not. And I blame the coach going to Rattler instead of Haener. Now Haener would have a few games experience instead of handing off to the Giants in the fourth quarter. Cincinnati, 5 and 47. You can still get a 4.5, 5. Cincinnati, obviously the over team. Joe Burrow and Chase. A 28 defense, however. That's why we locked the Dallas game, because I like Cooper Rush and I knew they'd score. I didn't think we'd have to sweat to the end, but at the end of the day, it won. And that's all that matters. Locks going 4-0. That's all that matters. Tennessee's a Z, 26 defense, and Levis stinks. He might have a decent day against the Cincinnati defense, which did start looking a little bit better Monday night. It's just too much Burrow and Chase. I really think this number is relatively low. Yeah, their defense isn't great, but it's Will Levis, and then it's Burrow and Chase. So even if it's like last week and it's close at the end, Burrow throws the chase, they get a touchdown. They win, so they're going to win the game. I'm not really concerned about that. Now, it theoretically looks like an over. Burrow is going to throw for 4 or 5 touchdowns in this against this defense. And Tennessee, on the other hand, should get something, but they have Will Levis. So this is where it falls apart for the over is how do you trust Will Levis? Houston, Miami, Houston 347. They're both under teams. We got Miami with the 23 defense, Houston with the 22. Tag against Stroud. Both kind of stink. Everybody likes Tug because he's got that smooth action. Yeah, but what does he do with it? He throws to the other team more than he throws to his team. Stroud, all he does is run to the sidelines and try to make a miraculous playground throw. Loses to Tennessee at home. I mean, they're just chokers, unfortunately. Now, I don't want them to be chokers. I'm telling you what I see, right? I'm being honest with you. I know Alex says, oh, Stroud's really good. No, and I'm not trying to knock Alex, but he's not. He wasn't good at Ohio State. He couldn't beat Michigan. So don't come across like he's good. He had a good game in the loss to Georgia. Yeah, because Georgia wasn't playing him to run, and he ran. Okay, whatever. So this game's pretty even. Both unders and both 22, 23 defenses. So you got a total of 47, which normally in the tag games I like over because Miami, good offense, no defense. What did they do last week? Did they get over? Yeah, with the JETSs, they played a 58, and the over-under was 47. I think you'll see an over, especially with that linebacker on Houston on suspension. Miami can't stop the wind. They don't have a good defense, and the game's in Houston. So, yeah, possibly a higher scoring game. It's frustrating because both teams don't score a lot, but that's with Skylar Thompson in there, not Tag, for 3 or 4 games. I have no excuse for Stroud and Houston not scoring except for he's not very good. So we'll see. I would assume a close game, but you never know with Tag. Kansas City 444, 44.5. Let's check weather. You're on the lake. Now I got rain and overcast. See, the weather changed on us. I didn't have rain before. 45 degrees, 12-mile-an-hour winds. So it's rain overcast in Cleveland. Okay. I was worried about that, but it's still only 4. We can get KC in 2, and we know Mahomes. It doesn't matter what happens. Mahomes will win the game. We all know that. Sure as the sun comes up, and and we need to eat, Mahomes is going to win the game. Winston's terrible, and the weather is going to hurt Winston. KC's got an outstanding defense, a 19, and Cleveland's a 26. So it does hinder Mahomes a little, but I'm sure the rain's going to bother Winston more than it's going to bother Mahomes. It gets cold in Kansas City, so I'm not really too worried about the weather, but it is raining. So if I was going to go over, I probably don't now because of the rain. Just when you got it. That's why I tell you guys, you got to look at the injuries. You got to look at the weather. This is a rain game, and so is the Dallas Carolina. So you have to bet it accordingly. It'll hurt it a little, but they're still pros, and they can still throw the ball 20, 30 yards down the field pretty accurately. And the way these defenses cover, it really doesn't matter. So go Mahomes, beat Navy. Dallas, Carolina, I still can't believe Carolina is now a 3-point favorite, 43 over Dallas. As I live and breathe, I don't. Dallas is an E team with a 20. I want to say a 28 defense. And Carolina's a Z team with a 30 defense. Cooper Rush should have a big day against this defense. Steve Young's going to have a terrible day. Let's see if there's rain here. I don't know who in the world would be betting on Carolina. Forecast rain here. Okay, so we're getting rain all over here. Oh, I had rain already. All right. 47 degrees, 7-mile-an-hour winds. Okay, so I did have rain in this already factored. Total of 43. See how you want to play it. Dallas, Micah Parsons showed up against Joe Burrow last week. Really couldn't stop him. Chase only had 14 catches, but I think he can go after Steve Young pretty good. And they're going to run Puka Chuka or whatever the guy's name is. Yeah, Chuba Hubbard. And is that his real name, Chuba? And so I don't know that Carolina's going to do that much against a pretty pissed off Dallas team. Now I can hear the locker room. We're an underdog to Carolina, and they all start laughing, and then they get pissed off, going, "Really, you made us an underdog to the worst team in college football?" I mean, Dallas was a dog to Carolina. This is what you dream of because you've got the weak favorite and a pretty good Dallas team. Dallas is better than Carolina. Everybody's better than Carolina except for maybe Tennessee, the Giants, shit teams. But yeah, so I'm looking at this thinking, okay, we will see. But I think Dallas is, especially in the weather, Cooper Rush, maybe it hurts CD Lamb a little, but I don't think so. He knows where he's going. The defense doesn't. So anyway, Dallas is a dog to Carolina. It's what you dream of. Arizona 6-46 to New England. No weather here. W team New England 24 defense. Not bad defense. It's okay. They run Stevenson a lot. Okay. Arizona an under team with Kyler Murray, 22 defense. So they're playing pretty good defensively. The safety's really good. Murray is struggling, a lot of interceptions. If he can't run, they don't do shit. That's the only way they win is if he can run for 50 yards and a touchdown. But if you keep him bottled up, there goes Arizona. I don't think Marvin Harrison's any good. He seems to struggle catching back shoulder plays and stuff. So a W team, New England against the U team, Arizona, similar defenses. Murray, could go any way here because May's so inconsistent. A lot of interceptions from him. Good game. San Diego 45.5 to Tampa. Game's in San Diego, so it's in a dome. Tampa an over team with the 24 defense. The Baker. San Diego is a B team with a 16 defense. Harbaugh's thinking he's in the Big Ten. I think they do have Purdue next week, and then they're going to finish at Illinois. 20. So it's a B team, 16 defense. Tampa's going to struggle against this defense. This is not a game. Baker's going to go wild in. San Diego's going to run it down their throat. Khalil Mack and Boza are going to be all over Baker. That's what I love with San Diego against Mahomes was he's got nowhere to go. You got two sharp defensive ends. Good luck. So I think San Diego should win. Tampa's not bad, and they need it for the playoffs, but I think San Diego's a little bit better, especially at home. But you got Baker. Game of the week, Detroit, 2.5, 54.5 to Buffalo. No weather here. We're inside. Detroit's afraid to be in the outdoors. They're both A teams, 21 defense, Buffalo, 18 with Detroit. Again, you got to be careful because they gave up 30 to Green Bay. So they're really maybe not an 18 without Hutchinson and 10 of their starters. So it's a very depleted defense, a lot of injuries. A couple of cornerbacks they got out there are not even good college players. The guy who got the ball hit his face in the championship game, he's one of them, and he still sucks. I can't believe you couldn't find somebody better than that. But a lot of injuries. The offense going to have to score. Total 54.5, 48.5. It's a little bit high, especially in the NFL. But, and the problem is you've got Buffalo Rams in your mind. Oh, that was an 80-point game. This is the problem. Detroit might run the ball because of their defense. They're going to go on fourth downs. Buffalo, they're not going to run the ball. They're going to want to be all over Detroit's defense. I kind of think Buffalo is a live dog here. Seeing what Green Bay did to Detroit, it won't get any easier here. And Buffalo lost, so they're coming off a loss, pissed off. They have to win to stay two back of Kansas City, who's probably going to beat Cleveland. So I would think you're going to get points, and I think Buffalo is a live dog here. Well, we got to see the injuries. They're not posted yet. I guess we'll get them tomorrow. Picks haven't gone up yet. I will play the game tomorrow. Now, what I'm doing, normally, like Alex pays $50 and he gets the college and pro class, so he gets all the picks. And there's no college this week, right? We got South Alabama against Western and Army-Navy. So, no, you're not going to pay for the college. So, in that sense, just pay $25 for the pro, and Army-Navy will be in the pro picks. What I'm doing is I'm changing my tab to bowl picks. It'll be on the bottom of the college, and it'll be $100. You'll get all the bowls and playoff games, all of them. So $100, but that covers like 4 weeks because the bowls, there's at least 3 weeks of bowls and at least 3 weeks of playoffs. So you'll get that for the 100. Class would be more. If you want college, it'll be $50, not $25, but you'll get 2 or 3 classes in there because you'll get each week of the bowl. So really, instead of paying $25 a week, which probably cost you $100, you get for $50, you'd get, I think, at least 3 weeks of the bowl games. That's the only adjustment. The pro class still $25, the pro regulars still $75, locks $75. The locks are weekly. If you want the locks for the rest of the year, talk to me because I 500 is for the beginning of the year, and this would be in the last month or so. If you want the pros for the rest of the year, talk to me. Or you can probably buy the month package for $300, and you'd get it should take you to the Super Bowl. But it might be short, but you'd get it through the Super Bowl. Anyway, let me know. My guy's supposed to be changing it. I had a buyer today. He paid the 100, but it wasn't there. So I sent him the password. And so if that's what you want to do, then it's 100 for all the bowls and playoffs. So keep that in mind. So obviously there'd be no college class this week, but we could do a pro class. And even if you're not available, I can do it. The key's giving your email. So when I do it, it says add email and then note the person. So the person will get a thing. Hey, they're doing a private YouTube, and then you click into it. But even if you're not there when I do it, you can see it an hour or two later. I can do it Friday night, so you can. Well, I can do it sometime Saturday, and then you'll see it. It'll be nice Saturday. The Army Navy game, and I can relax. So that's what's going on there. Okay, back here. So we've got the next game, Denver 444 to Indy. Indy's an under team with 23 defense. So Richardson, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's running around. He's running into players. He's constantly getting hurt. And he's, more importantly, not a very good quarterback. Denver, on the other hand, very strong team now. B, almost an A, I'd call them, probably the last five. Bo Nix looking great. Strong defense, 18 defense. So I'd say Denver at home should get the win. I don't know by how many. We'll have to see how good Indy is. But definitely Denver's the better team at home, better quarterback, better defense. So take that. Philly, 5.5, 42 to Pitt. You got two A teams going. You got two 18 defenses going. Wilson against Hurts. Russell Wilson's not even close. Much, much better than Hurts. But basically, you're almost in an Army-Navy game. Philly's just going to hand the ball to Barkley because Hurts, he's not going to have time. He's going to throw interceptions. Wilson is very sly. Big edge to Philly here, to Pitt here with Wilson. And this strong defense. So two dominant defenses playing. So I see two ways to go here in this game, but this is a very good game. I don't see rain. Let's see if it's changed. Weather. No, overcast and 46 with 5-mile-an-hour winds. Just what the doctor ordered. So we'll check injuries tomorrow. This is a very good game. I got two ways to play it. We'll go through teaser trends in a minute. Green Bay, Seattle. We got Green Bay 2.5 and 3, 46. So you could get Green Bay at 2.5, and you could then take them flush 3.5. Pardon my French. So by 2.5, and I don't know why the books would do this. So you could tease. So I guess they think you won't tease it because it'll be around 0. And I say, who gives a fuck? We won the other game. What was it? It was Denver, Atlanta, or Minnesota, Atlanta, where it was 1, and we took 5, and we won. They won by San Diego. San Diego was laying 1. We took San Diego in 5. San Diego won the game by 4, so we won. But we had 5 in a teaser. I didn't care going over 0. I'm trying to get over 3. I don't give a fuck about 0. Who cares about 0? It's just like inflation. It's like these people don't know what they're talking about. So Green Bay here needs the game. I don't know if they can catch Detroit since they lost both games to them anyway. But Green Bay is just fighting for the wild card. And 2.5, Seattle's fighting to win their division. So it's a playoff game. 2.5, 46. You got a B team in Green Bay, 21 defense. An E team in Seattle. They don't score as much as they should with the 22 defense. And Geno Smith, I blame the coach. He's not an offensive coach. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. I don't know that Seattle can really stop Green Bay, but we'll see. Stopping Arizona and Kyler Murray is not the same as stopping this Green Bay offense. Not that Love's great. It's the design on the offense and the balance is much better. So we will see. This is the site where they had that Monday night game where the guy threw it and he caught it for a touchdown. And then, Richard Sherman came up with it, and they called it an interception or something, or vice. It got changed, and it was like a joke. Seattle should have won the game, and Green Bay won it, or something, or vice versa. Green Bay should have won it, and Seattle won it. Anyway, yeah, these two teams play. This is the Russell Wilson game where it's 16-0 Green Bay the whole game. They fake a field goal and score. And then at the end, Russell Wilson throws a Hail Mary for a touchdown and then wins it in overtime. I love that playoff game. So anyway, it's a tight game. Both defenses are pretty good. So we'll see. It's really could go either way here. This is a toughie. But not this one. We got Minnesota 7 and 43.5 to the Bears. Kill against Darnold. Jesus Christ. Chicago's an under team. They get no offense, 21 defense, although Frisco blew that shit out of them. Minnesota an A team with an 18 defense. Darnold 27 and 3 the last 2 years in a teaser. 12 and 1 this year, by the way. They're at home. They need the game. They're trying to catch the Lions. They got to stay with Philadelphia. Lions could easily lose to Buffalo, and so this is a real opportunity for Minnesota. Although they'll know because it's the night game. Actually, it's Monday night's game. Oh, the Sunday night game's Green Bay, Seattle. Monday night, there's 2 games. There's Chicago Mini and Atlanta and Oakland. Holy fuck. I guess everybody will probably be watching the Chicago Mini. So Mini should get them here. And then the last game, Atlanta and Oakland. Atlanta 44.5. Cousins again. I can't wait for Penix to get out there. 26 defense for Atlanta. That's always been their problem. No defense. And Oakland, the Z team with the 28. Well, really, Atlanta's problem's been the coaches always sucked. Oakland's a Z team, 28 defense. O'Connell or Riddler. It looks like O'Connell is going to try to make it back. So what was the thing with the air cast? On a bruised knee, you don't need an air cast. You just kind of limp off the field. You should be able to put weight on it. If you couldn't put weight on it last Sunday, you ain't playing this Sunday. So we'll get more information on that. Atlanta Cousins should have a big game against the 28 defense, but Max Crosby could actually play this week. Oakland, a Z team, can't score with O'Connell or Riddler, even against Atlanta. So this is Atlanta needs the game. Oakland's been out for 10 weeks now. So that be your NFL. College, we'll talk about tomorrow. There's only one game, Army-Navy, and then South Alabama is playing Western. I don't know if that's a bowl game or what. I don't even know if it's this Saturday or next Saturday. Hard to say. So I can get to my videos that I'd like to teach off of. So anyway, tomorrow I'm going to buy some more gold. We'll see what happens. I need to run to the bank, and then I need to run to the gold store. I'm going to do this on my lunch because I don't be too excited. I get my money tomorrow morning. It's a direct deposit, so it'll be waiting, and I got Social Security money, and I was going to go get that money, and then I would have had to come back tomorrow or Friday, and I said, nah, let's kill 2 birds with one stone. Actually, 3 birds with one stone. We'll get both checks and go buy the gold. It's always exciting to add gold to the gold family. It's so funny because most people are fucking clueless about gold. They're either into Bitcoin or don't understand it, and it doesn't move, and one guy's saying gold's going to go down. I just was like, you're probably the dumbest guy. This was at a gold conference. I go, you're probably the dumbest guy I've ever heard in my life. You are so clueless of what's going on. And he brought up deflation. I knew he was a Keynesian. But it's funny, they never say they're Keynesian economists, they're economists. And the problem is all the economists are Keynesian. And we know what that is. That's communism. And it's control, and it's so corrupt and manipulated. And that's why we want to be in gold. We just want to be left alone. We want to be stoic. Leave me alone. Let me play with my gold. Get the fuck out of here. And anyway, so I was watching this video. Europe will die soon. It's begun. This 10 European countries that are going out. I began to watch it. 1 was Germany, 2 was France, 3 was Italy, 4 was the UK. So if you're looking for a catalyst, there's your catalyst. All these countries are all Keynesian. They're all socialist. They're all going broke because they all think you can just keep printing money, and they don't realize you can't. It keeps losing value. Then you have this debt. Oh, we got to pay interest on the debt. So they start raising the interest to stop the inflation. And then they realize, well, wait a minute, we're making the debt interest too high. I owe 36 trillion. I can't have a 5% debt. I got to lower the rate to pay less on the interest on the debt. It doesn't matter. You're fucked. You got 36 trillion going to 37 trillion soon. So this is the monkeying around with the interest rates is ridiculous, but you can't stop it. You can't take it back. You've printed the money. You've eaten the piece of cake, or you've eaten the cake. You can't take it back. Yeah, it gets out of your system, but you can't take it back. It's already done the damage. You've already eaten it. The boat, the Titanic's hit the iceberg. You can't do anything about it now. The water is going to run in. The boat's going to, there's nothing you can do. Oh, the Titanic's getting better. It's, not sinking as fast. That's about the size of it. There's nothing you can do with it once you've printed the money. You've caused the inflation. It's got nothing to do with prices. Oh, let's look at the CPI and the PPI. Well, first of all, they're manipulated. They're not using every price. And second of all, it has nothing to do with inflation. Now you can say, oh, look, it's gone down to 2%. Look, inflation's coming down. You're out of your fucking mind. Inflation can't come down. You've printed the money. It's gone. You can't take it back. I suppose you could burn it, but that's not going to happen. These people are too greedy to get it. So anyway, that's the real issue with it. Once it's out, it's out. So that's why these countries are all going broke, and that's why the BRICS countries are all going gold, and that's why we're golden with our gold, because the demand's going to be there. If I go buy an ounce of gold tomorrow, I'm doing 2 things. I'm getting out of the worthless dollar. So I'm getting out of this before it goes to zero. My biggest fear is they won't let me use this to buy gold and silver. Why would they? They don't want dollars for gold. Now, at my store, I'm not that worried about it. They're chuckleheads. Thanks for letting me buy physical gold for paper prices. Oh, okay. He's looking at it as paying the rent. Well, I got I paid spot at 2,700 for the gold, and I'm selling it to you for 2,800. I make $100, and I'm like, hey, I just bought a $27,000 ounce of gold for 2,700. Thank you very much. Then you got Egon sitting there going, well, gold doesn't go up. Yeah, it does. Like any asset, if there's demand for it, oversupply, it goes up in value. It's not stable in the fact that it won't go up because of some incredibly naive thinking that, well, it's the dollar going down in value, not gold going up. That's bullshit. That has nothing to do with it. Yeah, it takes more dollars to buy the gold, but the gold itself still goes up. I had an international economics class with the guy who worked for the Federal Reserve, and I love picking on him. And I says, how do you know if it's inflation or the demand for the product is going up? And he just looked at me with a blank look on his face, says, well, I don't really know. So before you call it inflation, make sure it's not demand. So with gold, the price going up is as much about demand as it is about the dollar going down. That's why I'm very confident I'm buying a $27,000 ounce of gold for 2,700 because I don't trust that the dollar has only gone down so much. And we know the derivatives are the ones keeping the gold price down. And if you would stop pushing it down, not from free market, but from interference from the government, i.e., JP Morgan, who, by the way, the banks are running the government. So don't ever think anything else. Do not think the government is controlling the banks. So when the banks do these what do you call them, bail-ins or bailouts, when they bail out the banks, it's the banks bailing themselves out because that's who runs the government, right? All the lobbyists and everything else. Keep your eye on Elon Musk. He's the biggest scum there is, and he's donating $150 million to the government. What's that about? Oh, yeah, we're all stupid. He's buying whatever, and his stock's $400. He doesn't even sell anything. I doubt he has earnings. So how the fuck's his stock $400 a share? What are you kidding me? And that's the other problem. It's so corrupt that that's what happens. All right, let's see if we can find some videos. So we've got so this is the idiot I was watching who I quickly discovered was a Keynesian. We'll go into that, and I'm going to rip it to shreds. First, we got Egon.
How much return do you get on paper money if you don't give it to the bank? And the minute you give it to the bank, you then run a risk that you're not going to get it back. For the people who hold gold for wealth preservation purposes, it's totally irrelevant that it doesn't pay any return or yield. But of course, you have the appreciation, which is not even a real appreciation because all gold does is to reflect the debasement of currencies. So gold throughout history has maintained its purchasing power. An ounce of gold buys the same suit today, more or less, as it did in Roman times 2,000 years ago. And that's why you hold gold. So you don't hold gold from the purpose of an exciting investment.
What if you're smoking
I do.
from looking like this?
Yeah, you look like shit. I mean, yeah, you do. But it goes up. So I made $1,000 per ounce because I bought it at 1,700. It's 2,700. Is that not an investment? Well, isn't that why I bought the gold? Well, I bought it to get out of dollars, but I know damn well it's also going up. And when I say 20,000 an ounce, I'm not joking, and I'm dead serious. And we need to blow up comex, which is getting blown up nicely. What do you think China and Russia are going to value gold at? It's going to be a lot higher than 2,700. So yeah, it's going to go up in value. It can't really go down because nobody in the right mind's selling it. Nobody sells it. It's the derivatives going down. Nobody's sitting there selling gold. God forbid. It's just some of these idiots at the store I go to. They sell the gold because they need to pay rent and food. But if they have the money, then nobody's selling gold. And then what? You're getting back into fiat. I love telling that guy in the sauna. He goes, "Well, what are you going to sell it for? You know, it's going to be fiat." And I go, "You don't get it. Gold's going to be the money." Have you ever heard of the Roman Empire and they use gold and silver as the money? That's what's going to happen. But it won't be coins. It'll be dollars because it's easier to carry. And that way you can have a bunch of them. But that's what's going to happen. It's not going to be any other dollars because they're not going to, they don't have value unless they're backed by gold. And you're going to have to because otherwise you can't have a civilization without money. It's the whole point of it. All right, little stoic for Bobby Bow.
I noticed that when you're too friendly, too kind, and too social, people start showing you disrespect. They take your kindness for weakness and think they can walk all over you. People start underestimating you, thinking you're soft just because you're a good person. But the moment they push you too far, they're going to see a whole different side of you, a side they ain't ready for. If you're always being nice, always doing things for them, they'll keep expecting it. And eventually, they'll think they can take advantage of you, run over your shoes like you ain't even there. That's when you got to step up. You got to step up and show them a side they've never seen before. Just because you're nice, just because you're showing love, doesn't mean you got to tolerate their BS. Matter of fact, that saying, treat people the way you want to be treated, is BS. I can give you mad respect, show you love all the time. But if I don't get that respect back, I ain't obligated to keep being nice. Some people don't deserve your kindness. Some people deserve to be checked. And some people.
How much return do you get on paper money if you don't give it to them?
So that's a very good stoic one, because I'm very nice, but I got a bad side. And Jenna saw it because she was doing exactly what I said. I'm nice to you. It doesn't mean I'm weak. And she kept pushing, oh, you got a spot on your shirt, or you didn't shave here, or you misspelled, it's not Positano, it's Positano. Howard. And it drove me nuts. I thought it was with my ex-wife. And I just kind of walked away when I got her home, and then I haven't talked to her. I have no desire to, because you're taking my kindness as weakness, and that's exactly what it is. But a little of that's insecurity, that you're trying to be friendly to be liked, and you shouldn't be friendly. You should be friendly because you're friends, but not to be liked. You don't want to be. You don't need to be liked. You like yourself. You're stoic. So I don't need to be friendly to be nice here or anywhere at work or anything. I got to communicate well and be nice to people because I'm working with them. But if I go to the club, I mean, I'm friendly with the lifeguards and that, how you doing? But I'm doing it in a stoic way, very tough. I'm not kissing their ass or coming across weak. They have an idea I'm being very strong. And again, just because you're nice does not mean you're weak. And I hate when people think that. So when they push too far and they see the other side, they run and hide. And now I just am kind of like walking with confidence, and people, I swear I get people, oh, excuse me, oh, let me hold the door for you. And I'm like, who the fuck? I nobody, right? And they'll be, I see the reactions. People, like the kid will run in front of me and the dad starts yelling at him, I told you to stay here, and it's okay, leave him alone, or sorry, mister. It's hilarious what and I notice it, and I just kind of chuckle going, and I'm just being stoic. I'm just not really looking around, and I'm just kind of walking very strong, very confident, and people know that, and they react very, I don't even say hi or look at them. I just kind of, I'm leaving. I'm very calm. I'm not threatening, but I'm very strong, and I get a lot of respect for that. It's amazing. Anyway, let's see what else. I'm going to play a few minutes of this idiot. Multi-year bull market. So I'm going to play this one for about 5 minutes, I think, at most, and I'm going to shred this guy.
I walked away from $1 million career at a big bank on Wall Street.
Nobody gives a fuck.
All in on an
Type of decision. Because basically, there are two types of recession. And I call it the bust and the birth of a multi-year bull market. And let's try to dive into it. I don't want to say too much about myself. Mastered economics from the University of Copenhagen.
What kind of economics? Obviously, it's Keynesian, because if he was Austrian, you make sure. I always say I'm an Austrian economist, not an economist. By him not saying by him saying I'm an economist, there's two types. You're either for the government run or the free market. And if you're free market, you make sure everybody knows that. So he's right there. I can tell he's a Keynesian without anything else, but we'll go on.
Head macroeconomist at Swissblock.
Macro, that's also
what is a
Keynesian.
business cycle model, which is what I see as the backbone of investing. If we do not know where we are in the business cycle, how can we then put our money into the market? Then we're guessing. And also based on that, putting in a multi-market economic market model based on Elliott Wave's theory. And I live in Copenhagen.
Nobody cares.
This is Swissblock, where I work as a head.
I don't even know where
macroeconomist.
Copenhagen is.
Not so much about that, because today we are to talk about gold. And everybody knows gold goes up all the time. Gold is a fantastic investment in the long time frame. And if we look at it, we can just see the compounded annual growth rate for gold. Fantastic. And I see the same. I see gold as the very bedrock of sound financial, monetary policy. We need to have gold at the core. That's why we have central banks having so much gold in their basements. We know that. But as I said, I don't think it's going to be an easy ride for gold from here on. And I want to point to that. And first, I want to go through my hypothesis here really quick. And then I want to tell you why I say that in the midst of the presentation, and then come back to this. So I say we are actually heading towards a recession. I saw Kai have crossed that out in the morning here, and that's a nice, easy thing to do. But I come from the country of Hans Christian Andersen, and like the boy in the Emperor's New Clothes, I like to say, well, why don't we take a look at it? Why is it that everybody talks about a soft landing when we can see that that's really not happening? So I see that we have a deflationary bust coming, which I don't think will be good for gold. I think we'll see gold decline incrementally.
All right, deflation, Keynesian. He doesn't think it's going to be good for gold. And then I cut him off, and he was saying he thinks gold's going to go down. Let me go back.
I think we're going to see the Fed will react in the morning here, and that's a nice, easy thing to do. But I come from the country of Hans Christian Andersen, and like the boy in the Emperor's New Clothes, I like to say, well, why don't we take a look at it? Why is it that everybody talks about a soft landing when we can see that that's really not happening? So I see that we have a deflationary bust coming, which I don't think will be good for gold. I think we'll see gold decline and quite a lot, actually. I think we're going to see the Fed will react, and that reaction, when that comes, will be fantastic for gold. It'll create a whole new environment for gold and for precious metals. And I think gold, as I said, then will embark on the journey up towards much, much higher levels. So this is my way of hoping that somebody will have a drink with me after, saying it may be that we see some, volatility ahead, but eventually.
Okay, so first thing is he doesn't understand how gold's priced. Gold's not going down. They're trying to knock it down, and they can't. There's too much buying of the physical by BRICS, mainly Russia, China, India, and Saudi Arabia. Gold ain't going down because nobody's in the right mind selling it, and most of it's held by central banks, and the last thing they're going to do is sell their gold. So does this guy understand it's derivative gold versus physical? It's a free market. It is not a free market gold. It is being bought hand over fist. Deflationary means prices go down. We just saw the price drop to 25.30 and it's back to 2,700. Is that what you're talking about? Gold will go way into the 3,000s. Gold will not go down because there's nobody selling it, and it's all paper derivative, and they're buying it hand over. There's too much buying, but he doesn't understand it's derivative gold. How the fuck can this guy be doing a lecture from Hans Christian Andersen, wherever the fuck he's from? How does he not understand it's derivative? It's paper gold. It's manipulated. How do you not understand that? So as we listen a little more, we can clearly see he doesn't understand any of it.
Actually, we'll all be right here. As I said, I think, we'll all hope that gold goes much higher. And I think also that we're going to see, fantastic investments in some of the companies that you represent. First of all, I like also just to point out, this is one of my fans, one of the guys that I really think is doing a fantastic job when it comes to investing. And he says gold gets dug out of the ground in Africa or someplace, and then we melt it down, dig another hole, bury it again, and pay people to stand around guarding it. It has no utility. Anyone watching from Mars would be scratching their heads. And somehow he's right. What is it that gold really yields? It is based on that we.
What does a Picasso yield? What does the Mantle card and the Tom Brady and the Montana rookie cards yield? What does a Rolex yield? What the fuck is he talking about? He's talking about Warren Buffett, who doesn't like gold because he doesn't understand it's an asset. He doesn't understand it's money. And for this guy to agree with Warren Buffett tells me how stupid this guy really is. All right.
Expect it to move up higher. And if it doesn't, and that is based on that somebody comes and wants to actually pay more for it. It doesn't yield anything on a yearly basis. So gold always goes up. That's what we're told, or at least we know that in a long time frame. Correct. And if you look at the big bull markets, they have been fantastic. If you look at it in the 70s, we saw 18 times up from gold. I think it was from December 1970 up to February 1980. We saw then a 20-year almost bear market where gold came down by 65, 70%. And then we saw another bull market, 7.5 times up into the 2011 top. Then we saw a few years of the...
Okay, let's explain that. Do you understand this is from comex price fixing by JP Morgan since 1971? So you can't say it's a bull market and a bear market. There is no market. They're doing derivatives to control the price. If government does price controls, you cannot possibly look at a chart and you can't say it's a bull market and a bear market. Guy's just a fucking idiot. I mean, this is what I gotta go against are idiots like this who look at charts when it's price fixed. It's not free market. I can look at a chart on a Joe Montana rookie card or a Rolex because those are free market, meaning I want to sell it. Somebody in the market wants to buy it. That's the price. Gold is not like that. Nobody, if I go and buy 1,000 tons tomorrow, God only I wish, it wouldn't affect the price of gold because it's controlled by the government's price fixing it, or JP Morgan more likely, are price fixing the price of gold through the use of the derivatives. That's how it's priced. So how the fuck can you chart it? And how the fuck can you say, well, there's a bull market and a bear market? There is no market. There's no market in it. It's controlled. Why is this such a hard concept to understand that if the derivatives are controlling it, there is no such thing as a bear market or a bull market? That's only when there's a free market can you have a bull market and a bear market. You can see the houses go. That's more of a free market. Oh, I'm going to sell my house for 300 grand and somebody comes and buys it. I'll give you 300 grand. The government's not price fixing it. They're not doing derivatives to keep the price down. I'm sure they try so they can buy a house cheap, but basically that's free market. And there's the houses just keep going up until now. And then they're going to switch because they're going from dollars to gold. But there's free markets. Gold is not free market, and neither is silver. So what the fuck is this guy talking about looking at a bull market and looking at charts? As soon as I saw this, I turned it off. I only made it a like for the class so I could find this video. Let's see, did I don't know if I commented. I might not have. I think I was watching it on TV, and it's hard to comment on TV. All right, let's do another minute or two.
And then now we have seen a new top. Again, everybody seems to believe this is the new bull. Fantastic. I just think gold is disappointing a little bit. Because if you look at when it actually bottomed out, wasn't it 2015? And now we are at 2,700. Compared to the other bull markets we have had, it's actually a bit disappointing. But we know in the long time frame, US deficit and debt will drive the long-term development in gold. And there is plenty of budget deficits. And there's plenty of debt. And that debt will become higher and higher year for year. So I think long time frame, we can just do the math. We can see the correlation between gold price and the debt levels.
No, you can't.
So why do I expect the roller coaster ride in 2025? Well, let me just get back to this about gold and the price, how it's been developing over the last few years.
Tell us about
so
comex.
Since 2011, gold is up by 50%, give and take.
Tell us about comex.
But silver, its cousin, is down by 35%.
Because of price fixing.
Platinum, its other cousin.
Are you going to mention comex and price fixing?
And the gold miners are down by 43%. GDX. That must make our heads scratch. Why is it that gold does so well and everything else around it does not?
Because it's a tier 1 Basel
this
3.
Is where I think maybe gold is not leading. I think gold is bubbling. I think the whole.
All right, I'm ready to throw up. So you got this guy out there talking. Most of the people, the audience has no idea what he's talking about. But don't fuck with me because I know exactly how bad and wrong he is. Gold is leading because it's a tier 1 money, and it's Basel 3, which means they have to take the delivery, but silver isn't. So they can't take delivery of the silver, and therefore it's not there. The fact that COMEX runs the prices has got nothing to do with the free market. What the fuck's this guy talking about? Well, why is silver down? Because they got so many derivatives that they can't let the price go up. That's why it's down. It's not in the free market. Why is this such a hard concept for people to understand what a free market is versus the banks controlling the price? I really don't understand it. To take Bobby's, I'm going to shake my head because I don't understand it. Why is it so difficult to understand this? They're still running with debasement, which is coin and not dollars. When the dollar goes down in value, it's inflation. It's not debasement. You can only debase coins. You're taking the silver and gold out of the coin. You're not taking the silver and gold out of the dollar because there's none in it. So people like this need to stay off and quit calling themselves economists because they make economists look bad. He doesn't understand paper gold. How the fuck can you not understand it? It took me a little bit, but once I dug into it, and that's my strength, it's like digging into the football games. Once I dig into the injuries and the weather and the other scores and defense, you see me nail every week in the pros 10-0, 10-0 twice, 10-1, 9-2, because I zeroed in on what's important and I know how to see it and figure it out. This guy has no idea. He's looking at a chart, which is a technical analysis, which doesn't work unless it's free market. Why is it so difficult? So he's looking at the chart, gold underperformed. Look at why is silver not performed? You're really asking that question, right? You really want to fuck with me on that question, right? Why is silver not performing? It's not silver, buddy. It's JP Morgan keeping the derivatives from letting silver go to the free market. And now all the countries, Saudi Arabia and China and India, are going right to the mines to buy the silver because COMEX doesn't have any. So the price isn't going up, but it's selling for $70 an ounce in the mines. So the mines is starting to go up, and that when COMEX is going to blow up, you're then going to see a free market gold and silver, and you're going to see gold at 25,000 and silver at 3,000. Yeah, I know it's hard to believe, but it won't be price fixed anymore. It won't be JP Morgan making the price. It'll be the free market. It'll be Putin and Xi and India and Saudi setting the price because of the demand, and all the central banks demanding the gold soon will also be demanding the silver because gold will get so fucking expensive. That's why it's like, I'm going to lunch tomorrow. I don't think I can wait. I'm just hoping he's got an ounce and a quarter there. And this is the whole point. This is exactly what I get so frustrated about listening to idiots like this. As soon as they go to the chart, Sheckman or the other idiots who are on Mark McGuire, well, look at the teapot. Like they think it means something. It's not free market. It doesn't mean shit. What are you talking about? You don't even understand it doesn't mean shit. That's the part that I get. This Hepke guy, he doesn't even understand. It's paper, gold, and silver that you can't chart it. It's whatever JP Morgan wants the price to be at. How can you fucking chart that? The thing that gold's going up is because all the central banks are buying it. So the demand is strong for physical, pushing up the price because of the Basel III and the Tier 1 and everything else, but it's only in gold, not in silver. because they're out so many tons of silver that if silver were to go to $40 an hour, all these banks would collapse because they can't get out of the derivatives. They're at $25, and silver, it goes down to like 29 and then shoots back up because China and India are buying the living shit out of it, and they're going right to the mines. So I was on LinkedIn today. Somebody asked me a question, and I see some in my homepage. There's a gold guy, and I lit him up. I just said, "You must be the stupidest man in the world. You're selling your gold at these cheap prices. Why are you doing that? Do you not know it's manipulated, or are you in on the take? Are you made off where they're paying you to keep the price down? I don't know which one it is, but if you're selling I think silver, let's say, at $30 an ounce, you might be the dumbest person in the world." I'm dying for the comment back, but these people are so stupid. You're running a silver mine. You want my silver? It's 3,000 an ounce. Just like I did when I went to the coin store and the guy was out of American Eagles, and it was about 1,800, and he says, it was probably 1,900. He says, "I'll give you 2,000 for your eagle, the 1 ounce eagle." And I said, "Add a zero to it. I'll sell it to you for 20,000. I'm not selling it for 2,000. I'm getting off the Titanic into the lifeboat. The last thing I want to do is get back on the lifeboat. So if I take the 2,000 from you, then I got to go back and buy more gold because I don't want 2,000 in dollars. That's why I'm running tomorrow when I get my paycheck and my Social Security checks already hit. I don't want that much in the bank. So I take it back. I leave a little bit in the bank, and then it's either put it in the safe, but I got enough in the safe now that I'm working, getting a check every week, that now I just go buy gold and I'm really not spending a penny. That's the biggest concept that people must understand. When you trade your monopoly money for gold or silver, you didn't spend a penny. You, in fact, increased your wealth because the dollar's going down, right? As Egon said, every day the dollar goes down, but the gold goes up pretty much every day. So you're trading your bullshit money, your monopoly money, for real money, gold and silver, real money. And you see it and you know it's good. And you just put it away and off you go. I don't like Warren Buffett's comment about, well, you dig it out of the ground and then you melt it into coins and then you put it in the ground again and watch it. That's not what you do. That's not the point of it. You buy a Mickey Mantle card for $1 million to look at because you think it's nice and you think the value will go up. Wayne Gretzky, remember, he bought the Hannes Wagner card for $1 million and then he sold it for $2 million. Isn't that what you're doing with all your assets? So what are you doing with your house, Warren Buffett? You bought a house, so then what? You're just sitting in it. You're not doing anything with the house. Oh, you bought a Rolex. What are you doing with it? Oh, you're just wearing it to look at the time. I mean, that's a stupid argument about gold. It's got no use. It's money, you fucking idiot. It's money that's so undervalued, it's ridiculous. But he doesn't understand it because he's not a smart guy, and he's not a finance guy. He's an insurance salesman. So he can never grasp the concept that gold is money. It's way undervalued. It's been pushed down, and it'll go up. But you can't stay in the dollars. And he's got like $3 billion about to go to zero when the dollar goes out, and it's going out. I think that's why they're panicking and putting it into Bitcoin. So I think he's trying to get out of dollars into Bitcoin, and then he's maybe trying to use the Bitcoin to pay off the debt, but he can't because Bitcoin doesn't have a value. So what you're going to do when the dollar goes out, the Bitcoin goes out. Oops. So big trouble. All right, that's enough of this clown. But that's what you say. As soon as he says he's an economist, what do I say? I put it right in my title, Austrian economist, and I'm proud of it. And that's why I teach it, because most of these guys have no idea. And then you have gold is real money and being held down, and you got to get out of the dollar before it collapses. That's why I show you Egon. The dollar is going to go to zero because they keep printing it. He gets it. But the rest of these people are Keynesian, so they'll tell you, the sky is green, not blue. If they all say it, because that's how these Keynesians are a bunch of idiots, that's what happens. So anyway, this guy, what an idiot. I wanted to watch this one. She's mixing castor oil and cinnamon, and my feet were bothering me today, so I wake up, I put an ice pack on it, and then I put my castor oil on, and my foot really blew up a little, probably because it was cold, and then it finally settled down. Now it's okay. But yeah, I don't know. I had a steak Sunday night, but man, it really hit me bad last night. Let's see. Well, let's see so Europe will die soon. Well, we know that. And then the US dies, and then BRICS wins because they got the gold. It's a very simple story. He who has the gold makes the rules. There's nothing hard about it. This fat fuck, I didn't even watch. He's from the same conference. So they're doing this German conference. Gold is for war. I listened to him for about 5-10 minutes and just, okay, this guy's a moron. Apparently China found like a big finding of gold in the ground in one of these Chinese provinces. It doesn't matter. It's not a problem. I was watching this. We can watch this for a minute because I want you to learn. Some idiot gets scammed because he doesn't know what he's doing. And I always tell you what to do and how to buy gold. This guy didn't. So let's take a look at this moron. It's more so you shouldn't do it.
For a while, did you not think to come?
All right, let's go back to about.
Little grotto here in New Hampshire.
Oh yeah,
This is Yankee Doodle Dandy.
You can tell me. And
The
I'll
real
tell you.
idiot.
Anybody from New Hampshire should know that. I just
Yeah,
forget things.
I'm not from.
You know where St. Gaudens Museum is?
Do I know where what is?
The St. Gaudens Museum?
I do not.
Yeah,
I'll have to check that out. I'd enjoy seeing that.
yeah. He was quite the party animal. Oh my God. Yeah.
So tell me what happened.
So I took my liquidity out of the bank, put it all in gold and silver, and I went through American Hartford Gold, and then I started doing some research on what I bought. And it looks like they overcharged me to the tune of like 150,000, give or take.
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah.
You mean like high premium, expensive
like way
collection?
high.
What kind of stuff did you buy?
I can tell you exactly what I bought.
Okay.
I bought like silver St. Helena's, 1.25 sovereign ounces. Tubes of 16, I bought 154 tubes. They charged me 171,000. Australian wildlife got me a tune of 189,000. And I bought 8 tubes of 25.
Did you know what you were buying or understand it at that point?
I don't think I did. You know, they really didn't. I just wanted my money out of cash because I saw the possibility of that crazy woman getting into office and shit just going south fast.
No, I get it.
So I'm like, I'm just going to take my cash. I'm going to dump it in gold and silver. But I told him right from the get it was short term. So when I called him back a couple months later, try to get my money back, he says, I can give you your money back, but you're going to take a bit of a hit. I said, so what's a bit of a hit? He's like 15%. I go, but it's up 6%. How am I taking a 15% hit? So he's telling me I'm going to take $100,000 loss after it's already up 6%. I'm like, how is that even possible? They're horrible. They're just straight up shysters.
But it's not just them either. There's a lot of people who try to get people like you to buy expensive, high premium silver and gold. Sometimes they'll use the song and dance like, oh, no, this won't be confiscated in a future confiscation by the government. Or
of course it would be. If they're going to confiscate, they're going to confiscate. But I doubt that's going to happen this day and age. But like an idiot, I gave him the power to buy what he felt Because I'm uneducated on gold and silver, but of course I started learning afterwards. I've been watching your channel. Yankee Sack and
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
He needs to watch the Teaser King. So, okay, what did he do? Now, I tell you, these MS70s, don't buy them. They're more expensive. That's why. You want to buy an ounce of gold and silver. You want to buy the Eagles, the Maple Leafs, the Cougar Ants, and you want to be the guy buying it. So you walk into the store, you call SD Bullion, you buy the ounce of gold, and you pay a little bit over spot with a premium. So if it's 2,700 now, it costs you 2,850. So let's see, what's gold at now? Gold is at gold's at 27.16. So when I go tomorrow, I know I'm going to add $110. It's going to cost me 28.25 approximately to buy my ounce. I don't care. I am free to trade monopoly money for that. Now that's fine, but I'm educated in it, and you're educated because I've educated you. So you know to go and buy the Maple Leafs, the Cougar Ants. I'll gladly buy a Maple Leaf or a Cougar Ant over an Eagle if it saves me $50, because at the end of the day, I want an ounce of gold. I want an ounce of silver. I don't want graded because I don't intend, I'm not buying it for the collectability of it. I'm buying it because it's gold and silver. Because as you say, it's 27.16 an ounce. So I want to buy as many as I can. I bought it at 1,700. It's 700. I made $1,000 on 60 ounces of gold. So I just made $60,000. There's nothing. I know I got it. I know I can go back and get 27.16 for it. He'll give me spot. I know I got to pay 28.25, but I'm fine with that because the only way to get the gold is to pay the premium. That's fine, unless I catch this idiot outside the bank and I say, "I'll tell you what, I'll give you a spot on it." So you got gold. Now he's buying collectibles. Why isn't he in charge of it? Oh, the Hartford bought for him. Why aren't you buying for him? Why don't you turn into me, and then you would have saved. You could give me the 150,000 you lost. See how much I save you guys from not being scammed by these places? Now maybe you'll appreciate the professor a little bit more. I give you money in football to turn into gold. You can all be Rumpelstiltskin. So, I mean, it's very simple. This is what you're doing. You're buying the gold. You don't want collectibles. If you want collectibles, you buy a Rolex or you buy a mantle card. It's simple as that. And you know what you're paying because you go on eBay and you go, "Oh, yeah, the mantle card, $60,000. Yeah, okay, I'll buy that." He'd have been better off buying the mantle card for 60 grand. But I agree with the gold, but why didn't you just go buy, my friend that I worked with way back at the stupid job, he came in, I introduced him to the owner. He brings a check for $100,000. I blew my mind because he was a guy, he was the manager in the back room, a stock boy type of thing. $100,000, and he buys 45 ounces of gold. He can't lose. It probably was no more than 1,800 an ounce. So he's made $900 times 100 times, well, probably 50 ounces. So he's made $50,000 just on that, just at this point. So really, that's the point. That's how you buy it. You just go right and buy the gold. You don't buy. I didn't put them into buy these MS70s or buy this. Maybe in baseball cards, you buy the PSA 10, you're going to pay more for it, but that's at least you know why. But you can't buy your own? I'm not educated. Then you shouldn't be buying it. Okay, you wanted to worry about, you didn't want Harrison in, so you dumped your money. Well, why were you smart enough to dump your money, but not smart enough to buy gold with it? So he puts them in these high premium things. So the premium was, instead of $100, maybe a 500 or 1,000. And so when you want to sell it, you're selling it at spot. So he's getting fucked. And so what do they do? Oh, I'm not going to buy gold. Look, I lost. So now he tells he lost in gold and people don't want to buy it. He didn't know what he was doing. You buy the I'm going to go tomorrow. I'm going to go buy an ounce of either a Liberty or an American, a Canadian, or a Cougar or Philharmonic. I'm buying an ounce of that and a quarter ounce of whatever he's got. Hopefully he's got quarter ounces, and I'm getting them in cash, and I'm going to leave with the gold in my pocket, knowing that I paid a little premium and no worry because it's nowhere close to being where it's going. It's headed to 20,000. I'm not worried about 27, 28. I never worry. I paid 2,800 for it, and it's going to go down to 2,000. I've never worried that because it's not. It's impossible. It's going to the moon. So when I watch this German guy and he's saying, "Oh well, it's going," yeah, I think it'll go down and then it'll go up. Why do you think it'll go down? Because J.P. Morgan and the derivatives are going to try to knock it down. Are the central banks going to stop buying it? Do you realize it's because the dollar's printed to death and it's going out and it's worthless? Why people are buying gold? So what the fuck would it go down in value for? It has to be this stupid. It says this is where the guy's a Keynesian. Egon, is an Austrian. I'm an Austrian because what do we talk about? The inflated the dollar to zero. This is what an Austrian would talk about. This is worthless. Do the Keynesians talk like that? No. We're just going to keep printing money to stabilize the economy. If you keep printing money, if you keep eating chocolate cake, you're going to get fat and die. There's nothing you can do with it. So why do you think you can keep printing money and nothing's going to happen? And this is the craziness. So, I just, I don't know, but it's hard for me to listen to somebody like that. Oh, but gold will go up. You don't even know why it's going. You think it's a graph. You think silver, why hasn't silver gone up? Well, the words coming out of your mouth should be J.P. Morgan and price fixing and derivatives and COMEX doing it. When I started listening to this, all these Mark McGuire's and Andrew McGuire and Alligator and these guys, none of them understood that. None of them talked about COMEX and derivatives. They all thought, well, when gold would go down, they go, it's profit taking. They're doing a portfolio. And then as soon as I saw that and I dug in and I realized it was trading places, I said, no, it's derivatives that are causing the price to go down. Nobody's selling. Then all of a sudden they're all doing the same. Oh, wait, yeah, the professor's right. We watched them, and yeah, it's not anybody selling. It's the paper derivatives going down. Hemke still doesn't get it, and the cowboy guy doesn't get it, and we know Jim Rickards doesn't get it. He doesn't. He's a Keynesian, but the rest aren't really Keynesians. They're just idiots, right? They don't know what they're talking about because none of them are economists, right? They're all like, "Oh, I used to work at the stock market, or I worked at a bank." How does that help you be an economist? It doesn't. So anyway, that's the point. So if you don't, so here's what he bought. Let's go through this. We'll take a field trip to eBay. So what this idiot at the store bought, all right, so here's an Eagle 2890, a little bit high, but okay. This is 3,058. This is what this guy bought, was this. Notice it's almost $200 more, but it's an ounce of gold, and it's an ounce of gold. Why would you pay $200 more? And I warn you not to do this. I warn you that you buy this. All we want is an ounce of gold. We don't care if it's graded. We're not going to get rewarded with the grading. Now, that's what he did. He gave it to this group, and they bought all these MS-70s or whatever, which are basically worthless. Now, the problem he had is he should have then went on eBay and tried to sell them. He shouldn't have lost money from the Hartford group stealing from him. He should have said, give me first of all, he should have taken possession of them. And then he could try to sell them like this guy's doing and saying, Okay, I want 3058, not 2890 for a graded coin, and hope he gets an idiot who will pay $200 more for a graded coin than the regular gold. An ounce is an ounce. Nobody cares that it's graded. So when we go try to sell our gold, nobody gives a fuck if it's graded. I go by, I don't want it graded. I just don't want it scratched up, right? So as long as it's in decent condition, and that's why I put it in this to keep it preserved so it doesn't scratch. That might hurt. That might hurt the demand for it, right? I want a mint one. I don't want a scratched up one. So as long as it's not scratched, it'll be desirable. People will buy it. So this idiot's buying graded coins without even knowing what it is, without talking to these idiots at the Highland or wherever he bought it at. Why wouldn't you just go into a coin store and talk to the guy and then, or come here and talk to me? I would have educated you in 10 minutes. I do that for you. Hey, Luke, how are you? Well, once Bobby came on, I was going to leave about 10. And once Bobby came on and you were on, so you had a good chance to ask him if he's really Bobby. I love that. He seems to be, because he said one of his comments was Barry did this and Barry did that, as if he's first names with Barry. And then he said he ran into Adrian Peterson in downtown Tampa, which the regular guy, I could run into Adrian Peterson. I wouldn't know who he is, but that makes sense that he could have ran into, he's throwing that name and he throws Barry around. If it's not him, he's probably not going to throw those names around. He could be. I like to believe so. Well, as I said, why would you choose, if I'm going to be somebody, why would it be Bobby Bonilla? I would be Tom Brady, or I would be LeBron James or something. I wouldn't be Bobby Bonilla, right? No offense, Bobby, but if I'm not really you, I'm not gonna choose you as my phony, right? So that's my thought on it. I think he really is. I don't know why he didn't answer your question. Do you have his email? I don't have his email. And he never buys from me the football games. We do talk about LSU, but he's never bought from me. You, I know, don't bet football, so I don't expect you to buy from me. But he does bet the football, but he's never bought from me, which I don't care. I mean, that's fine. But yeah, I think. Well, we'll see when we go to Capitol Grill soon. Well, I was showing a video where this guy got scammed because he was an idiot. He goes and he gives his money. He takes his money out because he's scared of Kamala Harris. So he says, "Oh, I better put my money in gold." So he takes out, I don't know, a couple $100,000 in gold, but he doesn't know what to do with it. So he goes to like the Hartford or one of these things, and I guess they bought the gold for him, and they bought a bunch of this shit. So you can see the premium is like $160 more, but he bought like a couple $100,000. So he bought a lot of these and he says, okay, I want my money back. She didn't make it, and I'd rather have my money. And gold's up 6%. So again, he thinks it's a stock, not money. And he ends up losing $150,000 because they bought him all this stuff, but they're selling it back to him at spot. So imagine I could have bought it for $28.90, but I have to pay $3,058. But in both cases, when I go to sell this, I'm going to get spot. So spot's right now $27.17. So that's what I'm going to get. You don't sell gold like that. I don't want to sell my $1,700 gold that I bought because it's not worth it. It's on its way much, much higher. And I was looking at this German conference, so I was watching this video. So I was watching this guy, and he says he's an economist from I don't know, Innsbruck, Austria or something. Or not Austria, but another country. And they're having this conference, Deutsch Gold Messe, whatever that means. So German gold, whatever. And he starts talking. He says, "Oh, I'm an economist from the Netherlands or something." And he's wondering like gold, and he starts looking at the chart on gold. And I immediately roll my eyes going, this motherfucker doesn't understand paper gold and physical gold. And he's talking at a conference. He says, well, gold might go down and there'll be deflation. And you're like, oh my God, well, another idiot. And he said, but then it's going to go real high. But I don't know why silver's not moving. You don't know why silver's not moving because of all the derivatives JP Morgan has and silver at $25 an ounce that they can't get out of. And they're going to lose $1 trillion if they let silver run to 40, they're going to go broke. That's why it hasn't gone to 40 because JP Morgan is dumping the derivatives on it because otherwise they're dead because these idiots are shorting something they should be going long on because the demand's huge for it. So he doesn't understand the demand. He doesn't understand the dollar going out. He doesn't understand the central banks buying the shit out of gold and all the countries buying the shit out of silver for the solar panels. And it's money. So people are buying it for two reasons. He doesn't understand any of that. Like, what the fuck are you doing at this conference? I can't believe the guys they have on these conferences. They're all Keynesians. They don't understand it. So again, I'm trying to explain that it's paper gold, not physical. It's being controlled. So you can't look at a trend. You can't look at what happened in 2008 and 2010 and 2015. And it was in a bear market. Now it's in a bull market. The fuck are you talking about? It's not stocks. Gold is not a stock. I don't know how many times I got to say it. So there is no bull and bear market for gold. It's because it went to a tier 1 and it's Basel III and they have to settle and China keeps buying it. That's why gold's going up. The dollar's going out is the other reason gold's going out because every central bank is dumping dollars for gold. That's why gold's going up. It's got nothing to do with the fucking chart. What happened in 2010? I don't get it. I mean, the dollar's going to zero, okay? And you either hold dollars or you get off the Titanic and go buy gold. It's not a hard concept. Why these idiots can't figure it out, it's beyond me, Luke, but these are guys in a gold conference in Germany, and I just shake my head like, are you fucking kidding me? You don't understand paper gold? And you don't understand the dollar's going out. So obviously he says he's an economist. He's a Keynesian, obviously, because he starts talking deflation and I never talk deflation. Anyway, so that's what was, I was showing some of that. There was a Egon. Let me show you Egon.
How much return do you get on paper money if you don't give it to the bank? And the minute you give it to the bank, you then run a risk that you're not going to get it back. For the people who hold gold for wealth preservation purposes, it's totally irrelevant that it doesn't pay any return or yield. But of course, you have the appreciation, which is not even a real appreciation because all gold does is to reflect the debasement of currencies. So gold throughout history has maintained its purchasing power. An ounce of gold buys the same suit today, more or less, as it did in Roman times 2,000 years ago. That's why you hold gold. So you don't hold gold from the purpose of an exciting investment.
Oh, you want to bet? You want to bet that, Egon? Sure you do. It's also an investment. So you're getting out of dollars to get into gold. That's why you're doing it, to get out of the dollar that's worthless. So I'm going to buy gold tomorrow. I'm all excited. And as I'm saying, there's a guy I sit next to. I says, would you want to come with? I can show you how it's done. And he said, no, he's scared. I says, you're not spending a nickel. You're just trading a worthless monopoly money for real money, gold. Your dollar's going down and gold's going up. So it's better than a fair trade because the gold's going up and the dollar's going down immediately. So I'm making money just by buying it. And then on the second half, if I don't buy it, the money I just made, I lose. It's worth less, and it will go up because of all the demand. So if you understand economics, you know the more demand and a limited supply, price goes up. Very simple. Just like as we talk about your brother with the tickets, the Ohio State Oregon game, very limited, high demand. He's able to get 5,000 a seat or more. Look who's back, Bobby Bo. Bobby, how are you? 2 days in a row. I just feel honored. Luke, I wish silver wouldn't be so boring. It's been doing nothing lately, just hanging around. Well, I told you, because JP Morgan will lose their ass if it goes to 40. So they're fighting very hard to do the derivatives. And the problem is Saudi Arabia and India and China are buying right from the mines. And if you buy from the mines, it doesn't affect the price. That's the problem. So COMEX is sitting there, and China's buying $70 silver from the mines because they need it for the solar panels and they want it for the money. So don't think silver's not moving. It's just on COMEX it's not. And that's what we're waiting for Putin to do, this exchange where it's diamonds and precious metals physical, because China and Russia want a real gold price, not this bullshit one. So I think it's already here. It's starting to take place. And then that'll be the end of COMEX, because they can't. What are they going to do? Sell gold for 2,700 and Putin's exchange is 10,000? Yeah, they'll sell a lot. Okay. Only an idiot would sell it for 2 if it's worth 10. No, that's not alligator. That's Egon that I was showing. Oh, no, yeah, that was Egon I was showing. Luke, it's been hard for years watching the stock market gain year after year and not seeing silver go much of anywhere, as well as my miners. Well, just you can't pay attention to that. It's like betting football, right? And we're on Minnesota and Detroit's winning. Well, but we bet Minnesota. I don't care what's going on in the Detroit game. Forget the stocks. You can either play the stocks or play silver. You were smart. You played silver. So forget it. You know it's a long time for the silver to go. But when it goes, you'll be rewarded. And when the stock market crashes, then you'll be smiling. You'll be the cat that ate the canary going, yes, now I know why I did it. And I avoided getting crushed in the stock market and in Bitcoin. And my gold and silver are now through the roof. And that's what's going to happen. So you just, I would not focus on the other. I don't look at Bitcoin and go, oh, I could have bought it at 30,000 when Luke told me, and now it's at 100. I don't look at that. I could have bought a Rolex for probably 20,000. That's probably 100. I know I could have I did buy the Montana card for $100. It's now worth 100,000. So that's one that actually went my way accidentally. Now I got to get it graded, and it's got to be a 10. It's at least a 9. It's a beautiful card. Same thing with the Rice rookie. Same thing with the Brady rookie. It's a beautiful chrome one. So those cards I bought very cheaply, but I never once thought Montana would go to 100 grand. Never in my wildest dream. Look at the Mantle card. PSA 9, 1965 tops is $60,000. I never, believe me, if I knew that, I've been buying it at the card show for $400. But I never thought cards would go that high. But I didn't. I bought Montana to buy Montana. Just like all the 70 Steelers, I bought all those just to buy them. I didn't, but I tried to get mint ones. What's up, Luke? I saw metals are down today. No, they're up, Bobby. They're way up. What are you talking about? Silver has done nothing. I should have just got gold. All right. What are you guys looking at here? I just showed it. Silver at 31.90 and gold's at 27.10. So nice day for gold. I don't mind if it goes down a little tomorrow because I want to buy it. Silver I might buy, but silver, it's just a buying opportunity. As I keep telling you, just go buy it. You're buying something worth, okay, let's say 1,500 if you don't believe the 2,000 for $32. Would you not buy more of it? It's not a stock and it's not controlled by JP Morgan. It's controlled by JP Morgan. It's not a Larry Fink. It's not a Bitcoin, which is controlled by the Russian mafia. So they don't want gold to go up. You must understand who we're fighting, but it doesn't mean the value isn't. And by the way, we got Putin and Xi in our corner who both have, just ask yourself, why does Putin have 25,000 tons of gold? We like him. He's a pretty smart guy. Maybe he knows what he's doing and he's starting to buy silver. So don't sit there. You made the correct move. You got off the Titanic. Just wait. You're fine. Don't worry about it. Stocks have went up. Gold has went up. Crypto has blown up. And silver is still sitting there down, jack shit. I am a little devastated about. Don't be devastated. As I said, if silver goes up, JP Morgan loses $1 trillion in derivatives. That's why it's being held down, because JP Morgan and the bullion banks are sitting there like idiots shorting it. So they got contracts at $20, $22, $25 that they can never get out of because silver is never going down there. So the idiots and everybody's buying gold and silver, they're shorting it in a derivative. Like, what a bunch of morons. Just like Eddie Murphy in Trading Places, right? They're hoping the price goes down, but it's too much demand, plus the solar panel guys. So keep that in mind. Do not worry about it. It's going to be fine because Putin and Xi the silver price is going to go to the moon. Don't worry about it. The demand is way too strong. People are going to the mines to buy it. You won't even use comex pretty soon, right? You're going to use the Russian exchange and it'll be worth much, much more. So just please don't worry about that. Your time will come. It's like Mahomes in the Super Bowl, right? The Niners got up 10-0, and all the people bet the Niners are, smiling, and you're shaking your head off. Fuck, I'm losing 10-0. But what did you do? You bought more. You bought Mahomes at a good number, and who got the last laugh? Us, because Mahomes won the game. And that's what you're doing in silver. Everybody, they're buying Bitcoin and stock, and they're all smiling. And we got the silver. And at the end of the game, we're the ones smiling and they're the ones going, I fucking lost everything. So don't think like that. You're looking at a space and time. Silver's still $32 right now. I know it does. And you're comparing it to gold, which goes up, 2,710. Silver's at 31, 32. So keep that in mind. They're going to run. It's going to run, but you got to break comex. And to break comex, we need Putin. We need the Russian price fix. And the way these wars are going, he needs it pretty soon because he's running out of money. I just gave Darius some money and it was like 101. So $1 bought me 101 rubles. They're broke. But he's sitting on 25,000 tons of gold. So he's not broke. The ones who are broke are the U.S. So they can play this COMEX game with JP Morgan all they want. It's going to be over soon because we are done. I was showing in class, there's the top 10 countries in Europe that are going bankrupt. Now, I didn't get through all of them. Number 1 is Italy. Number 2 is Germany, France, and England. What happens when they go out? We're not far behind. Japan's gone out. China's going out, except they got 60,000 tons of gold. We saw Turkey. They're big trouble. Zimbabwe already went to gold. And Venezuela's gone. They're heavily inflated. So all these countries are going out. The lights should be coming on going, oh, well, what number in line are we? 5, 6, 7. I mean, we're not far behind. Our dollar's worthless. It's toilet paper. So just, you understand that. So just look at the whole picture. You're fine. You've got the right. You're not in money. If anything, when you get your paycheck from the Mets, you should be running to the coin store, because you know what my biggest fear is? They won't take the dollar anymore for the gold. That's my biggest fear. I'll get 10 grand in and I'll go, okay, I want to buy 3 or 4 ounces. And they're going to say, we're not taking dollars anymore. That's my biggest fear. Now, we're okay right now, but it's coming. Don't kid yourself. Who the fuck wants dollars? We don't want to sell our gold and silver for dollars, right? If they offered me $2,000 or $5,000 for my gold, I wouldn't take it, because I don't want to be in dollars. I want to be off the Titanic. Keep that in your mind. If you're in stocks, you're still in the Titanic. If you're in Bitcoin, you're still in the Titanic. But if you're in gold and silver, you're not in the Titanic. That's where you want to be, is off the Titanic. So keep that in mind. All right. That's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. So stoic up, Bobby. Oh, I got a stoic one. I played it, but I'll play it for you. Here, you need to see this one then. This will cheer you up.
I noticed that when you're too friendly, too kind, and too social, people start showing you disrespect. They take your kindness for weakness and think they can walk all over you. People start underestimating you, thinking you're soft just because you're a good person. But the moment they push you too far, they're going to see a whole different side of you, a side they ain't ready for. If you're always being nice, always doing things for them, they'll keep expecting it. And eventually, they'll think they can take advantage of you, run over your shoes like you ain't even there. That's when you got to step up. You got to step up and show them a side they've never seen before. Just because you're nice, just because you're showing love, doesn't mean you got to tolerate their BS. Matter of fact, that saying, treat people the way you want to be treated, is BS. I can give you mad respect, show you love all the time. But if I don't get that respect back, I ain't obligated to keep being nice. Some people don't deserve your kindness. Some people deserve to be checked. And some people.
How much return do you get on paper?
That's what I did to Jenna. She disrespected me, and she took my kindness for weakness, and I told her to fuck off. So that's stoic, Bobby Bow. So quit acting like a pussy and get stoic right now. I am tempted to go out to my batting cage out back and using my silver coins as baseball. No. Don't hurt the goose laying the golden egg. Luke, why does JP Morgan have to play derivatives on silver? Don't they supposedly own the most physical in the world? Wouldn't they want the price to go up? Because they make a lot of money on the derivatives. Before, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, that's how they would just manipulate it. So they would, they're going to short it at $100 and it goes down to 50, and then they get out of the position, they make a bunch of money, and then they buy it at 50 and it goes up to 100, and they get out and they make their money, and they just do this. And in options, they make, if you hit the strike price, you make a lot of money, and they're controlling a lot of silver, like hundreds of thousands of ounces of it. So it's not like one contract. So they got many contracts, and they control it with I think 4%, and 96% is leverage. So yes, they do have a lot of silver. Maybe it's this derivative silver they're talking about. We don't really know, but I think they make more money playing the derivative bullshit than they do on their silver. So they'll be happy when the silver price goes up, although they'll lose trillions of dollars in derivatives. So the derivatives a margin thing. So you're controlling you're controlling 100% with 4%. At least that's how it is in gold. So 96% is just fantasy. That's why they can control so many contracts. That's where they're making their money. So yes, they might have a lot of silver, maybe, but they make a lot of money in derivatives if you can control the game, which is what them in London did. They would sell it, London would buy it and give them their money back. That's why we're all fucked here. But that gave us a break to buy it cheap. So quit bitching, Bobby. You're able to buy silver at $32 an ounce. Just take it. It's $2,000 an ounce you're getting for 30, and you're bitching. Just keep buying. Believe in Putin and China. They're going to make the prices go, and all the demand for silver. And there's like a 4-year backlog of the demand that they can't fill. It's going to break. It has to. It's like there's the holes in the dike, and eventually they can't. You can't hold them all. The water comes in, and that's what's going to happen here. So just hang on there, Bobby Bo. It's just like Boston being down 3-0 to the Yankees, and then they won. So just have a little faith. Bobby, by the way, I am fasting for another 13 hours as I am scheduled for blood work tomorrow. Hopefully I am not dying so I can live to see medals fly, which can be another 10 years. Yeah, so you're fasting for a total of 13 hours, or you've already done some? I did 43 over the weekend. So I ate Friday night, didn't eat Saturday, didn't eat till Sunday noon. And I hit every football game. So maybe I should do that every week, do my fasting. That was a joke, Professor. I think medals will fly sooner. I know. I laughed. I feel your frustration, Bobby. Well, you've done the right thing. I'm sure we've all had that. We did the right thing, but we're waiting on it, right? And then, it's just there's nothing you can do. You just have to wait. But you did the right thing. Would you have thought Bitcoin would have hit 100,000? Never in your wildest dreams. So would you like to get into Bitcoin now at 95,000? Why did it go down 10,000? Well, didn't the Russian mafia want it to keep going up? This is the other part is you're holding real money that can't be inflated, and it has a huge demand. That's all you can do. You bet on Mahomes to win the Super Bowl, and he's going to win it. So you just have to wait for it. Bobby, yeah, Silver is pulling an Aaron Judge on us, choking in crunch time when it counts. They're not choking. They're being choked by J.P. Morgan. They're not choking. I think T will go back to constitutional money. Well, they have to, because the money they have is worthless. I think what he's trying to do is use Bitcoin to pay off the debt, but he can't do that because it's not real money. And it's not the U.S.'s money. It's just international. Russia has it. All these people, how are you going to get the coins? I mean, because, if people have them in their little bank accounts or Bitcoin accounts, he doesn't have access to them. So, what's he going to buy? $10 trillion worth of Bitcoin if he can, if there's that many out there. And anytime that Elon's involved and Larry Fink, I'd be running the other way. Hopefully they won't get into gold. Good points in the country's currency going down. It's a matter of time before they have to revalue gold and have sound money. And every country's in the same situation. Look at Russia. It's 101. They have to go to gold soon. And he's got a war to pay for. All these Middle East people have a war to pay for. It's very expensive to buy the missiles and the rockets, feed the soldiers, get the gas for the tanks and the trucks and the planes and everything. So there's a lot of cost, and there's no war. There's no money coming in, right? Okay, let's go to war. Okay, where's our revenue? We'll have to print money to do it. Well, the money becomes worthless, and then you need gold, and that's what's going on. The difference here is there's no gold in the Ukraine, or the U.S. has already stole it. I'm not sure. That's probably really after Putin wants the Ukraine's gold and the U.S. want the Ukraine's gold. Always a war for gold. Luke, if silver holds 32.10, it would be the largest yearly close in history. Well, we know it's going to 1,000. It's just working its way. Once the Russians have that exchange, because they're going to exchange diamonds and precious metals, physical. Because Putin's pissed about the diamonds. He's got diamonds in Russia, but De Beers wouldn't allow him to cut the diamonds, and he's not happy about that. So he's trying to break the price fixing that De Beers has. So he's after diamonds and the gold and silver. He doesn't like that the U.S. prices his gold and silver. and China's. So I'm sure they're going, this is ridiculous. What the fuck? U.S. has no gold and silver, and they're the ones pricing the gold and the silver? Are you kidding me? Because if everybody really knew that we don't have any gold, it's all over, because then nothing's backing our dollar. I don't know how many people think we have gold backing the dollar, which we don't. But once that happens, it's all over. So that's why there's no audit. I was looking Vatican gold, and supposedly it's in Fort Knox. The Vatican gold's in there, not our gold, unless we sold it all to. That would really be sucky for the Vatican if we sold the Vatican's gold to China also. Then there'd be a assassination real quickly here. I should have listened to you, Professor, and just bought gold. That's okay, Bobby. You'll be fine with silver. Go buy gold now before you can't. And like I said, my biggest fear is that I can't use this to buy gold anymore, because they don't want it because it's worthless. But at that point, the gold will be so expensive anyway. I'll have to buy silver. Well, I don't know if I can use this to buy silver. You got to understand, this is worthless. Why would you want it? Right? I don't want to get paid in dollars. I asked them to get paid in gold. There you go, Bobby. So when they hired me, well, they haven't hired me yet, but they brought me on a contract for a few months, then I'll get hired. And I basically said to the guy, okay, I said, just give me a fair market for my services, but can you pay me in gold? And he laughed because he's a gold guy. And I said, he's like, no, we can't. I'm like, well, that's okay. I'll be running to the gold store every Thursday. I'm running to the gold store to buy more gold and silver. But I got to hope that I'm getting this weird feeling. Is he going to have gold? And I might have to buy more silver because he'll be out of gold. But as long as there's idiots selling their gold at these cheap prices, then there'll be gold for me to buy. So that's why I really like to get an ounce. I want to get an ounce and a quarter tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, you listen to me in football, so that's okay. I made you money on Mahomes in the Super Bowl and all the playoffs, so you did okay. Just understand that the silver will go up. As I told Luke's got 1,000 ounces in his 2 boxes. It goes up $100, he makes 100,000. So I don't know how much silver you have, but when it goes from 30 to 100, now take how many ounces times 100, and so you'll make a good killing there. But the demand for silver is huge. So the comex has to go away, because they're not even using comex to buy it anymore. They're going right to the mines to buy the silver. Well, how much is that going to be? At what price? It ain't going to be $30. And if I was a miner, I'd be selling it for $1,000 an ounce. Wait a minute, you got to come to me because there's no silver in comex, and you need it for whatever reason. I don't care, China and India. Okay, let's do 1,000 an ounce. You don't like it? Where are you going to go? And they'd pay it because they have to, because they need it for these solar panels and all this other shit. And they need money. It is money. Let's not forget that. So it's just because JP Morgan has all these derivatives on their books at hoping gold goes down to 20 or 25 or whatever. And they're I don't know why they haven't expired yet, but so they're playing that game and they can't get it down because China and Russia keep buying the silver. When it drops to 29, they buy it and push it back to 31, 32. So China and India are buying as much, and Russia now, as much silver as they can get their hands on. So don't worry about the price. And they don't care if they fuck over JP Morgan. God knows they're the most crookedest bank in the world. Oh, we didn't see Bernie Madoff had $2 billion in the account, and they're supposed to legally check that, right? If somebody has $2 billion in the account, they're supposed to know why. What do you do for a living there, Mr. Jones? Yeah, I sell drugs and and stuff like that. And they're supposed to report it, and they didn't. So they knew they were part of the Madoff Ponzi. But just you played the game right. You bought the silver God knows you got out of the dollar. So that's the first point. That's what I keep trying to impress you. You got to get out of the dollar because it's going to zero. So that's your first thing. Tell your little daughter, if I stay in the dollar, we won't be able to go to the grocery store anymore. And you'll use silver for it. So the silver will come in. You'll eat well, Bobby. The scary part's when your house goes to zero. Then what are you going to do? Then you'll take gold for the house, but you won't have to sell it. I mean, you'll be fine in the house, but it'll really have no value, which means your property taxes should go to zero, because my house has no value. My property taxes should be times zero instead of whatever they're at. So keep that in mind. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. I mean, if we look at where it's been, I mean, I know when I was doing this 2017, silver was probably $16, $18 an ounce. So it's gone up to 32. And gold was 16, 17, 18. It's 2,700. So it has moved a lot, even though it's price fixed. So imagine when it's not. If Bitcoin's 100,000, what do you think gold will be? Gold will make that look like chopped liver. Gold will hit 200,000 if it could, but it won't, because the dollar will be long gone by then. So gold will be the money. So keep that in mind. I got asked that question in the sauna the other day. Well, you got the gold there. I'm the gold guy now, and so they're like. So the guy says, well, explain it to me. And I go, well, there's nothing to explain. When the dollar goes to zero, the only money will be gold. I don't know how hard it is for you to understand that. Oh, the dollar won't go out. Oh, well, keep thinking that. Okay. Yeah, and KC won't win the Super Bowl. Yeah, keep thinking that, fella. Why won't the dollar go out? They printed 160 trillion of them. What the fuck do you think? Why do you think it won't go out? So it's just idiots talking to. So he says, well, when you bought the gold, when you sell the gold, you're going to get back into fiat. And I said, no, you don't understand. Gold will be the money. Do you remember the Roman people? They had gold and silver as their money on the Appian Way. Now we got to go to Vegas to use it. But that's how they lived on, with gold and silver. And, it worked fine. But they went out because they inflated their money. They took all the gold and silver out of the money, and now it's worthless. We're doing the same thing, printing 160 trillion and keep printing. And we got to print, we got to pay for the war, and we got to build more weapons, and we got to pay Social Security and Medicare and all the government employees, because they don't generate any revenue, and their little pensions and all their little vacations and the private planes they need. So they have to pay for all that. Well, it comes from printing it. And, guess what? The more you print, the less it's worth, and it won't last much longer. They think we run out of money. We don't run out of money. We have a printing press. In 1923 in Berlin, in Germany, they didn't run out of Deutschmarks. It just was worthless. They were printing 1 billion Deutschmarks a day, and it made the value of it go to zero. But it didn't run out of money. I don't know where they get this. They ran out of money. Greece ran out of money. No, it didn't run out of money. The money was worthless because these idiots printed too much. Quite an easy concept, but people just don't want to hear it, I guess. Okay, Bobby. Yeah, I agree. Mahomes will win this year again. But you got to wait a few weeks for it, don't you, Bobby? By the way, I did a live bet on Sunday night before that one drive when KC was down. Oh, there you go. And did you do Joe Burrow on Monday night, your LSU boy? When the game was tied, didn't you? I had the over in the game. It was a lock, and it was over 43, so I won it. But I needed Burrow and Chase to do their magic. And that's why I bet it over, and they give me the over. They're nice boys. I just love Burrow. He's such, you watch oh, it's Caleb. Oh my God. And Trevor Lawrence. And then you see Joe Burrow and you're like, okay, it's like a whole different game when Joe Burrow and Chase are playing than watching Caleb. Jesus Christ. Although I give Daniels a lot of credit. He looks like a pro, and so does Nix, and Penix will look like, watch Burrow and watch Kirk Cousins, and you want to make any type of comparison? Or they paid Trevor Lawrence $265 million. Are you fucking kidding me? What does Burrow make? $100 million? I mean, or a billion? Because if he got what he's worth, he'd get $1 billion. If you're paying these idiots like Trevor Lawrence $260 million for a couple of years of crap. Can you imagine if Joe Burrow was the Lions quarterback? They would never lose. They'd score 60 points a game and never lose. Well, of course, Mahomes will drive them down the field when the game came through. And again, now Bobby's learning. See, I taught you that. They need to sit Kirk Cousins' ass down and give Penix is better than Daniels and Nix, right? And they say he's looking good in practice. So, of course, let's not play him. Let's keep paying Kirk Cousins because we paid him $45 million a year. So, therefore, we should pay him and lose because he sucks. You made an error in judgment. Now, what are all these players going to do when all their millions turn to zero? This is going to be interesting. You're smart enough. You got into the gold and silver and got out of your money. But what are they going to do? What's Mahomes going to do when his money turns into dust? Well, wait a minute. I get all this money, and you mean it's all worthless? Oh, fuck. I don't, maybe he has assets or something, but I'm sure they have some form of assets, the house and something, but they should have a bunch of gold, but they're probably not smart enough to do it. Get on them, Bobby. Bring them into class. I'll set them straight. But that's what's happening. They don't understand. Warren Buffett doesn't understand, or Warren Buffet. He's got what, $6 billion sitting in an account somewhere or in his basement. Say goodbye to your monopoly money. Nobody wants to look at history. It's happened 10 times within the last 2 years. Greece, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Venezuela, Zimbabwe, Argentina, Brazil. They're all fucking gone. And it's about to happen to the UK, France, Germany, and Italy. They're this close from being bankrupt. Russia's going out, China's going out, Japan's going out. But it won't happen here because we're the reserve currency. So that makes our money immune to being overprinted. Really? What kind of fucking law is that? That's ridiculous. No, you overprint your money. It's worthless. It's worthless. Bottom line. Luke, the ticket prices for NFL are insane. That's what pays these ridiculous salaries. It has to break at some point. Good concert tickets for big names are now $400 a pop. I wouldn't even waste my time with anything. Why go to a concert? You can watch it on TV. In the football games, you'd have to pay me to go. Maybe college, I'd go. Like the LSU Alabama game at LSU, I wouldn't pay $400, but I could see going to the game at a decent price. But I don't know how are these people paying for the money? So what happens when they're all laid off because we're in a recession, about to be a depression, with all this spending? The economy is broken. The only reason we don't have massive unemployment is because it's all government jobs. So most of these jobs created are government subsidies. Well, where are they coming up with the money? Well, they're just printing it. I'm getting calls for jobs from companies I never heard of. The XYZ company. Oh, we need a senior financial analyst. Who the fuck? But do you have government clearance? I go, I'm not working for the government. You're out of your fucking minds. So they got so many of these little companies or companies offshoot, like Tesla, government subsidy companies. It's insane. And that's the problem. And you got to pay for them. And you're just printing more dollars, printing more. Oh, it's okay. You just keep printing more. It won't lose value. We're the reserve currency. Oh, yeah. I'm sure England and France said the same thing. And we know Rome said the same thing. Reserve currency doesn't mean shit if you print it to death. And without the petrodollar, you're not the reserve currency anymore. It's just there's no competition for you. Oh, except for BRICS gold-backed currency. Now that's competition, and all the BRICS countries will not use the dollar to trade. They'll just trade their own. They'll just, Russia will trade with China. They don't need. Why would they need the U.S. dollar? Not that they could get it, but the same thing with Swiss going to Belgium. What do they need? What does he need dollars to buy Belgium, whatever francs are? That just doesn't make sense. If I go to Canada, I don't need, well, I have US dollars, I guess. But it's all this whole FX thing's a nightmare. It's, I look at it and I go, oh, it's if I give Daria money, it's 106 rubles for my dollar. Where's that coming from? Who the fuck's making that up? Oh, now it's $102 today. Well, how did that happen? Who's it ain't free market, you know that. I mean, how is that happening? So Russia's coming out with gold very, very soon, and BRICS will be right behind them. All the central banks are buying gold. It's all the handwriting's on the wall there. You can see it everywhere, right? As all these countries are going out because the dollar is worthless. And then they'll all have to come out with new currencies. The problem is all of Asia, all the BRICS countries are buying gold as fast as they can. Well, guess who doesn't have gold? Well, Germany probably does. Italy, France, England, do they have gold? I know England doesn't, Canada doesn't, and we don't. So, we're fucked. Without gold, you're fucked, right? So put it that way. Any way you want to look at it, Bobby Luke, if you don't have gold and silver, you're fucked anyway. So the fact you're out of dollars should be your highlight, not, oh shit, I don't have enough gold or this, or it's not going up. You're out of the dollar. That was the game. You bet Mahomes was the game. If it took you to the fourth quarter to win, you don't give a fuck as long as at the end of the game, Mahomes wins, and he does. We'll take him again this week. They're playing Cleveland. They're laying 4. At some point, they might be down. It could be a rainy day, which I don't think it'll affect him. And if Cleveland does grab the lead, double down on Mahomes, because at the end of the day, the score is going to be Mahomes 21, Cleveland 17, or something like that, right? He'll win the game, so just keep pounding it. But I think Winston will help us out with a few interceptions. He's good for pick sixes and stuff like that. But that was your first goal, is to get out of the dollar, which you've done. You gotten out of the dollar, and the gold and silver was just a trade. You didn't lose a dollar. You didn't spend a dollar. You got out of a currency going down for a currency going up. You're buying money. So don't worry about it. We know why it's not going up. It's JP Morgan's derivatives. We're fine, because it's got to end. That you can't keep the finger in the dike until eventually the dike collapses, right? So you're fine with it. Don't worry about it. You've made the right move. Now you just got to sit back and wait and buy more and buy more and more and more. And you're fine with it. You understand the game. You got the concepts and the theories. So what are you worried about? Most importantly, you're out of dollars. So when I go tomorrow, I am just merely trading my money for gold and silver. And I whistle and do handstands going out of the store, thanking them for selling it to me at physical gold at paper prices. Thank you. Very kind of you. Anyway, I'm just excited. I hope he has some ounces and quarters. Maybe I'll Philharmonic or at least the nice maple leaf, because it's cheaper than the Eagle. That's the part you don't get, Luke. Instead of paying 120 over spot, I can pay you like 80 over spot. It's an ounce of gold. I don't give a fuck. I don't care who's on the cover. Oh, it's a maple leaf or it's an eagle. I don't care. As long as it's an ounce of gold, it's all I care about. You go to Switzerland, I don't think they're going to care if it's gold, if it's an eagle or a maple leaf. Here they will, but think about it. You're not going to want US dollars for it. So why would you sell it here? So you're not going to sell it here until they come out with a new dollar. And you certainly don't want Bitcoin because that ain't real money. So don't be fooled into trading your gold for Bitcoin. I don't want to hear that. No, 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 no. You don't really need to trade in the gold. It'll just be like a Picasso. Do you trade the Picasso? Do you trade the Rolex? No, you bought the Rolex. You're fine. You don't trade it for dollars unless it's just an absolute. So gold, you're really buying. But what are you going to sell it for? You don't want to sell it for this paper monopoly stuff. You got to sell it for the BRICS gold backed currency would be the only thing I would sell it for. Unless it was do or die and I needed cash, then I'm going to sell a small amount of gold to cover whatever cash I have. But most of your bills go to zero because there's no more dollar. So that's coming soon. Like Egon says, we're at the hyper stage now where you fill the stadium in 50 minutes, but after 45, it's only 7%. And then the last 93% gets filled in the last 5 minutes. We're in the last 5 minutes. We're very close to it. So you don't see much, and then it's going to go boom. And then you're going to be glad you're in gold and silver because you won't be able to get it at that point. So just buy as much as you can now and stop worrying it's not going up. It's going, believe me, the demand is there. It's going to go to the moon. Nothing can stop it because you have a limited supply. They can't print more gold and silver. And so then it leaves the demand is huge because everybody's going to need gold and silver because there won't be any money because the money will all be worthless. The whole fucking world is in fiat paper bullshit, toilet paper money. So they'll all jump into gold and it just isn't that much there, right? It's only 201,000 tons of gold and who knows how much silver. It's not that much more, maybe 300,000, 400,000 tons. But they're buying they got the demand for it far exceeds the 400,000 tons. And we got Russia and China buying it and India buying it like it's water. So they're doing their part. It's not a U.S. thing. It's a world thing. So you're fine. Just stop worrying about it. Get stoic, Bobby. Be stoic right now. Luke, the eagle will always hold a higher premium. No, it won't. Only in America. You go to Switzerland and you tell me the only currency the world will agree on is Basel III Tier 1 gold. Well, of course. We went to the only lifeboat you have is gold. That's it. It's money, and it's the only one you can't print. That's why it won't go out. So when you go to Switzerland or you go to Germany or wherever you want to go to sell it, they're going to see an ounce of gold. Do you think they give a fuck if there's an eagle on it or a maple leaf on it? You think there'll be a higher premium for a U.S.? These people hate the U.S. You probably get a lower premium outside the U.S. At the U.S., you'll get it because the Americans think, oh, I got to buy American. But in the world, you got an ounce of gold? Thank you. I mean, look at gold. It's not priced in U.S. or maple leaf. It's priced in gold. 1 ounce of gold, what, $27.10 right now or whatever. It's an ounce of gold. It's not a country ounce. Probably whatever's more limited will be worth more. And I don't know that that's the U.S. or maybe Philharmonic isn't a lot, or the kangaroos maybe aren't that many. Who knows? I can see a gold rush happening again, maybe a silver rush too. What do you mean, the 49ers? We're all going to run to California and pan gold and silver? That's a possibility because China found a mine with, I think, 60,000 ounces or something of gold in one of their provinces. There's gold all over. I mean, it's they don't find that. It's only a few tons, right? If you're looking at it that way. So they'll say all these ounces, but it's 32,000 ounces to a ton. So it's, oh, they found 5 tons. Who cares? It's already gone. The one idiot in Germany said, oh, there could be inflation in gold. I had to turn it off when he said that. He's obviously one of the stupidest guys I've ever seen. How can you have inflation in gold? That means you had to print gold, which you can't do. Finding more gold is not inflation because the demand is far greater than finding a ton. The demand for gold is far more than a ton. So there's no inflation. God, I couldn't believe when I said, I can't listen to this guy anymore. He's giving me a nervous breakdown listening to such idiotic things. Anyway, just get out of the dollar. I mean, if you listen to anything, get out of the fucking dollar before it's worthless. And believe me, it's this much from being worthless. It's this much. This is all that's left. I had to fold over, so it's not even worth this anymore. It's worth this. So this might buy a gumball. This might buy a pack of juicy fruit, but it ain't buying whatever €5 was bought before. So the way you know is what it used to buy and what it buys now shows you the value of the money has gone down. That's how you know it's gone down. Normally you would measure it in gold, but they derivative the price of gold down. So when Egon says it's worth $1 million now, was 14,000 for that big 400-ounce bar, that isn't even accurate because it's really worth a lot more than $1 million. If you didn't do the derivatives to keep the price down, it might be worth 5 or 6 million at this point. And that's where these people are just clueless. They can't think like me. They don't get it. Because of the derivatives push the price like silver. You really think silver is $30 an ounce because it's what it is in the price fix comex? The JP Morgan, you think keeping the price down, you think that's the real price? Oh my God. I mean, if you think that's the real price, you really are stupid. And that's how I look at some of these guys when they say these stupid comments. I go, you're a fucking economist and you don't know that? Like, I got to turn you off, fella, because you're too stupid to listen to. I don't want to waste my time. So that's why I watch more football or wrestling. Right, Bobby? We got to watch our wrestling. I bet Hulk Hogan's got gold. He's not. The Rock. Maybe The Rock's got gold. He seems like an intelligent guy. I bet he walks into the bank for the gold. Do you smell what I'm cooking? And he starts doing the people's elbow on the guy at the bank. I want some gold. And he gives him the people's eyebrow, and then he's going to elbow him. He'd be fun to take to the gold store. I want all your gold. Right now, I want all your gold. If the general public turns to gold, maybe as the stock market falls, watch out. It could be a generational wealth transfer. Well, that's what I'm talking about. This is what I've been teaching for the last 4 years. That's exactly what's going to happen. It's the end. It's the end of the Titanic. As the people realize the boat's going to sink, because they don't realize it at first. It hits the iceberg. They don't even pay attention to it. Serve me my brandy in my room. Pull my bed down. The fucking boat's sinking. But until the boat is this far in the water is when they start realizing it. And when it's this far in the water, that's when the panic sets in. Is like, oh, I got to get on the light. Like, they realize it too late. That's why we're 5 steps ahead. We've already bought most of our gold. We've already got out of our money. And now we're just waiting for the boat to go out. But all these people who are going to jump on the lifeboat, we're just gonna lay back and go, well, we're on our lifeboat. We don't wait till the last minute. So that's exactly what's going to happen, Luke. But multiply it by all these different countries. 159 countries want to join BRICS because they need the gold. That's why they're getting into BRICS, not because they like Putin or anything. So they're all going to need gold. And when the shit hits the fan in the US and the UK and France and Germany, I was in Berlin with Jenna earlier, and I talked to the cab driver or people at the restaurant, and they, oh yeah, we're all in the gold. We know what happened in 1923. So the people pretty much know to buy gold. But the other people, France and Italy and the England, and these people are going to be clueless. And then when their money's no good, because the people in charge are all George Soros's guys, then you're fucked, right? As soon as that happens, how do you buy the gold? Because if I'm selling it, so let's say we're selling our gold, or in your case, silver, Bobby, and you go to somebody from France, well, I can give you some French money for your gold. And you're gonna just shake your head and go, why would I want that crap? I don't want that crap. I got out of that crap to buy the gold. They won't be able to use the money to buy it because nobody in their right mind is going to take it. Now what do? How are they going to buy their gold? They don't have any money because the money they have is worthless. And that's my point with these, Mahomes and these athletes. They think they have money. They got monopoly money. What are they going to do how are they going to buy gold? Something strikes me that Joe Burrow has gold. I think he's smart enough too. But what are these guys going to do? They're going to be fucking broke. You got a $50 million contract of monopoly money. So that's what's going to happen. They're all going to get fucked. And it's the whole world. But look who's got the gold. Russia, China, India, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Brazil. They've got the gold, and anybody who wants to get into the party of BRICS, the central banks are buying the gold. And I assume the people are too. Most people are common sense. It's the problem is these people that are trying to get rich quick are buying the Bitcoin. And I don't even know if they're buying the Bitcoin. It's that guy that who keeps saying it's good. It's a good thing. I'm a sailor. I mean, they bought $60 billion worth of Bitcoin. Yeah, well, when that goes to zero, yeah, your company probably won't be around anymore. Does he understand it's worthless? If he bought 60 trillion at 98,000 an ounce, I don't think so. What are you going to do? And then how is there still any Bitcoin left? Isn't it 21 million? Wouldn't that be sold out by now? Because how is the price going up? I mean, people are buying the Bitcoin. Well, if it went up from 60 to 100, that's a lot of Bitcoin being bought. Oh, wait, yeah, Larry Fink did those ETFs, which are phony, and he's putting in all these, yeah, okay, we'll play with Larry Fink. It'll be at 60,000 soon. Yeah, the general public will turn to money, right? And they're all going to be fucked unless they buy gold and silver. I think most of the brighter people have gold and silver. They just don't tell you about it, right? Because you're not supposed to know, because you're not supposed to know about gold. I kind of believe it was a God thing, good thing, me overhearing you at the airport. I've been thinking this for years, maybe a God ordained meeting. Well, you're joking. I'm not. I think I meet people all the time, and there's a reason for it. Absolutely. I mean, and I remember your friend. I don't know, did he ever get into gold? But you seem to be more into it and inquisitive than him. He was kind of shaking his head, but there's a reason I met Daria, on the internet. Out of the blue, I met her, and we're getting along really well. You just don't know. There's a lot of reasons that you meet people unbeknownst, it's not clear. that's why I try to teach. So the meetings you have from me, even at work, I'm teaching, and in the sauna, I'm trying to teach, or the hot tub, and the people are too stupid to listen, and they don't get it. You're meeting somebody with this skill, and you're not listening, and you don't. They don't get it, but so you got it, and yeah, I don't think it was a chance meeting. I don't think there is a chance meeting. Just like meeting Bobby on here, I don't think that was a chance meeting. There's a reason for that, but that's the way it is. But yeah, I don't think it was a chance, and if I can help you, then that's what I'm doing, and that's why we met, I guess. No, I know you're not joking. I'm just referring to your LOL at the end. But no, I know you're not joking. I'm not joking either. But I think we meet people all the time. A girl smiles at you in Target, and you go talk to her, and then you marry the girl. So there was a reason for that. But then again, we regret the marriage sometimes. But that's. I take everything kind of seriously about that there's a reason you meet people. There's a reason I'm at this job. Maybe it was to buy more gold. I don't know. But there's always a reason for something. I was at that other job. It sucked, but this guy I met, and he took $100,000 to the coin store and bought $100,000 worth of gold. I shit my pants because he's just a worker in the back room. He's like a supervisor in the back room. What the fuck do you got $100,000 to buy gold with? And yet he took it and he bought, I think he got 50 ounces or something of gold. And, I haven't heard from him. I would expect a little call like, hey, thanks, Howard. But, I get the way people are. But I don't do it to get the thank you. But I'm happy that he's making money. Well, at least I hope he didn't sell it, but you never know. But I know he bought it because I was there. It was the timing when no one was talking about what I was thinking. And the person it was on WhatsApp, and we kind of text each other, like message each other, because it's hard to conversate. So I just tell him, hey, what's going on? I'm in Barcelona airport, and then I get into the gold. He's not much into sports, and then we'll get into gold, and I get into the girls with him. And I met him in Alabama, and so it's just I was bored waiting for the flight, and I didn't. It doesn't matter what time it is because I'm not talking to him. I'm leaving him the message, and he can listen to it when he wants to. So so that's all that was. But I said it loud enough that if people wanted to hear, but you weren't hearing anything but the gold anyway. But yeah, no, that was cool. I enjoyed meeting you. I'm glad you're in the class. We will meet at the Capitol Grill soon. Probably over Christmas because it's probably going to be 3,000 very soon. We got Mark McGuire. Tomorrow's Thursday. Tomorrow's payday, and then Friday's Mark McGuire, where he won't have his stupid guest on. The guest asked him last time the same question you asked me, Bobby, which is the silver. Why is the silver not going up? I understand why the gold's not, but why is the silver? And he basically said, because JP Morgan has all these derivatives that they can't get out of, and they're going to lose trillions of dollars. So they have to keep the price of silver down. That's the only reason, not because the government doesn't want you in it or you'll get into the dollar. It's just they get their ass kicked in the derivatives. But I agree with you. Why do they keep shorting the derivatives? Why don't they go long on them? With all this demand, I would be betting on the derivatives, not against the derivatives. So it just seems really stupid. Anyway, I think I'm going to get going and get a little rest. I need to unwind. I had a hard time sleeping last night because I was so wound up, and you can't just go to sleep. So I think I'll turn on the Munsters and watch Herman try out for the Dodgers. I love that one. You probably like that one too, Bobby. He hits the ball way over the scoreboard. God, that was Leo DeRocher. Did you ever play for Leo, Bobby? That probably would have been fun. Seemed like a good manager. All right, www.teaserking.com. If you want to buy the bowls and the playoffs for college, it's $100, but it's multiple weeks. If you want the class, it'll be $50, but that'll be multiple classes. My IT guy should have it done today, but he might have it by the end of the week. But the bowls haven't even started yet. Outside of that, I'll have the pros posted tomorrow. I will play tomorrow's game, Niners and the Rams, and we got to watch out for the rain. I don't know what's going on. It's this huge rainstorm in the Northeast, New York, Baltimore, Washington, Philadelphia. It's just pouring, and then it was turning to snow. I saw it this morning. They said by the night it'll be snow flowers. So I don't know if it's a 1-day thing or a 4-day, or it's going to be around Sunday or not. I do see rain in the Cleveland KC game and in the Carolina Dallas game, but I don't. Baltimore, Philly's Pitt. There could be some rain there, but I think Baltimore is on the road and the rest are on the West Coast, or in Detroit's in the dome and Minnesota's in the dome and everything like that. You're welcome, Luke. Take care and enjoy your day. And soon you'll be buying that house. Don't worry. Yeah, I mean, because as you said, the person with the house will be broke. He'll have his house, but it won't have a value in dollars. And he can't get dollars because they'll be worthless. Now, what's supposed to happen is they're supposed to come out with a new dollar. And it should be backed by gold. Now, if they try to come out with a dollar backed by Bitcoin, just run for the exits. It's all over. Because Bitcoin's not money, as we know. Nobody transacts in it. Nobody accepts it. Now, can Trump say you have to take Bitcoin? I don't know. But most of the people don't have wallets. It's a worldwide thing, right? So how many wallets do you have? Can I get a wallet if I needed one? Not that I want one. So that might be an option, but that won't be that. But they need to come out. It's the government's responsibility, not the Fed's, to come out with a new currency as a medium of exchange so we can go to work and get paid and buy and pay for our stuff. That's the government's job, but it should be the bank's job, not the government's job, and it should be competitive. It used to be competitive in the 1870s and 80s. There'd be multiple banks selling currency. There was no one currency. And if one guy inflated, then everybody would dump that and go to the other guy. He wouldn't inflate. He'd get all the business. So it's their job to do it. So theoretically, but the gold and the silver will go so high that, you buy all the money with an ounce of gold. Anyway, I am pooped. So I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. I'll report in on the gold. Hopefully he's got gold for me and I can buy it. I'm sure he usually does. So www.teaserking.com if you want my picks. I only went 16-0 Saturday and Sunday, so I don't know why we picks. Anyway, have a good day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Go. Well, let's check our last gold price is $27.05. It's taking a little downer at 10 o'clock at night for some reason, or 9 o'clock. But China's got it now. I've noticed China's starting to go down, but then it goes back up. So we'll see. I don't care because I'm buying tomorrow. So if it drops, I'm fine with that too, knowing it'll go back up soon. But again, this is all derivative. It's all games. JP Morgan doing derivatives. It is not free market. It is not anybody selling gold. That's why we buy. And silver at $31.93. I'm sure I'll buy some silver also. All right. Have a good night, everybody. www.teaserking.com and watch your gold, watch your silver, watch Putin, watch brics. Okay. Take care, everybody.